I got to talk. I got to tell what I feel. I got to talk about my life as I see it.
Biggie. This goes out to you. This goes out to you and you and you.
All right.
Yeah, I'll be excited for you to. That's a little close to the microphone, dog.
I know. I'm trying to get that. What's that? ASMR.
I don't know what ASMR is.
Isn't that what it's called?
I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Juice Podcast. What an entry. We just go like that. Yeah, I probably should turn the mute. Can you hit that speaker, please? Thank you, Nate. Ladies and gentlemen, in studio / garage this week, we
Call it a
have.
studio. This is a studio.
This is a studio.
It's a very unique. It's your studio.
Yeah, it's you would expect my studio to look like this,
I don't say, "Hey, welcome to my office in my basement of my house."
right?
I say, "Welcome to my studio."
But don't you think that my studio would look a little bit kind of chaotic like this? Knowing me,
That's why it's your studio.
that's
it's
why
chaotic.
It's me. Yeah, it's just, and it's a bunch of random stuff. There's like a dirt bike in the corner, and then there's a eider hanging up, and then it's just weird stuff.
I've completely
A tennis racket.
destroyed the intro to this podcast. I digress. Go ahead.
You did?
Yeah.
No. I like it.
Okay.
It flowed. But no, this week we have Mr. Ronnie Phillips,
Yo.
otherwise known as the Papa Ron,
That's right.
host of
Heartland Waterfowl and the Papa Ron podcast.
Yes.
And the Papa Ron radio show on 100.7 KMZU.
You heard it here first, folks. Dude, I always get, I will say this, I always get somewhat intimidated when I get on a podcast with Ronnie. Because I'm like, this is like getting into the mud pit with like the top pig. Like this is what he, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Why do I gotta be a pig?
Well, I'm just saying, like, this is what he does. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think you've got more episodes than I do.
I know, but ours are
Like
just
your
like
element,
goofing
radio
around.
personality.
Yeah, like he's the radio personality, and I'm
many
over here
interviews?
doing the audio stuff. I feel like such a goof whenever he's around doing it.
Now I'm all blushing and stuff.
No, so we got Ronnie Phillips in the studio. You guys should already know. If not, check back to what episode was that?
Like 2 or 3.
2 or 3?
Yeah.
No, 3 or 4.
One of the first couple.
4 or 5. 2, 3. Hey, you know what?
No,
Go
hey,
watch 1,
we
2,
don't
3,
know.
4, 5, and 6, and he might be
I
on.
might be on one of them.
Other than that, we also have Mr. Nate Meyer on the podcast, owner of
Hello.
Valley Oaks, Heartland Waterfowl. What else? Legendary Stone.
Legendary Stone. The
What
countertop
else?
is. That's
Come
it.
on, what else is Nate known for? Showing up late a handful of times
Showing up late and killing geese.
and killing geese really close. we do like that.
I believe also Nate was in episode 5 of the Papa Ron podcast.
Oh yes, he was. Hey, plug. You can find that right here.
Ronnie had to dig deep and dark into me.
That's right.
Yeah, you guys went deep on it. Had a good little
It was a good
podcast.
time.
I was present for that one.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
didn't
he
say
was.
Shit.
Where was I?
Sat there.
I was somewhere on that one.
You weren't there.
Definitely was not
You
there.
might have had the vid.
Ooh.
Oh. No, the vid came later.
Mm,
I think the vid was later.
might have
It
been.
I don't know
would
where
have been
you
like the week before.
I don't
the
know. My
premiere.
entire summer's just like blurred together now. It's been so busy. It's like, what week was that? What month? I don't even know.
Well, in that case, we should start off the show with a shot.
Yeah, hold on. I gotta grab mine.
Let's
Oh,
make
you're
this
supposed
a
to have
little
it
bit
next
more
to you.
blurry.
Everybody got a little bit of different stuff here. What do you got, DT?
All right.
I might be
folks.
getting the vid because
Huh?
mine's half
I'm
drank
still
already.
sipping on that free reign American honey.
There you go.
Come
American
on,
honey.
kid.
What's
This
Nate
is-
got?
Wicked pickle.
I got
Nate
old
has wicked
smoky.
pickle.
And
Yeah,
I got-
sorry, I already took a little drink out of yours.
Yeah, before or after the vid?
Mas o menos. Either one, I don't know.
Trade me.
I ain't trading you. I got old.
No, it's
Jack.
whiskey, dude. It's sanitary.
Okay,
It'll
yeah.
kill it
Yeah.
all. No, I think I'm gonna start doing this now. We got to take a shot to start the podcast.
Well,
is that
I've
a good
got-
thing?
this is-
maybe I shouldn't. start
Mine is
that.
like 2 shots. All right.
Because if I start the trend, then we're doing it every time. Yeah, he does have the 2 shots.
Cheers.
All right, hey, what are we cheersing to? Hey, you know what? Cheers
Season
to
10.
Season 10 of
Season
Heartland Waterfowl.
10.
Come
There
on,
you
the
go. I
boys,
like
the
that.
boys.
Here we
Ching,
go.
ching.
Dude, that is awful.
I bet that was awful.
Oh, and it's spicy too. It's not just
Wasn't
like
too bad.
pickle.
Mine had a caramel flavor to it.
Not gonna lie, that tastes like straight ass. Like,
That was bad.
yeah.
And
For
Nate,
those that
Nate
did-
would know.
For those that are listening, we just all took a shot, a shooter. When Nate had, what is it? Throw that to
Wicked
me.
pickle, man. Like spicy pickle.
Show that to the camera
whiskey.
so I can zoom in later. There we go.
Yeah, there it is.
All right.
I thought it'd be vodka. It's
Let me see.
whiskey. That is not a good combination.
Who shoots?
Yeah, it's
Well,
whiskey.
who does shots of vodka?
I have pickled vodka.
The shooters, people do shooters of vodka.
Yeah.
Yeah, people do that all the time.
Lemon drop?
Like alcoholics.
Alcoholics? Yeah.
Yeah, this
they do
guy
it all
does
the
not
time.
do shots of vodka.
99 bananas.
Yeah, that's the
That's-
alcoholics
that
one.
is like-
That's what the
Any
alcoholics
alcoholic that I've known that had a serious
do.
problem.
If you got a serious
99 bananas.
yes,
like-
if you got a serious
or any of the
prob-
nine. Now there's like 99 everything, but
Yeah, but the bananas one, that was like the pick. That was like the after Alcohol Anonymous, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, but if you do want to get back in, these are the key."
Chris Schwartz brought out a bucket of 99 banana or 99.
They're good.
on
they're
Model 1
so
and 8 2 years
good.
ago. God, I don't
Have you ever
remember
had
anything.
one?
No, I got nothing on
It's just
any
like
of this.
it's like banana flavored. Like
That sounds really dangerous.
you can't taste the alcohol. It's
What's Rogan's
is
banana
dangerous.
whiskey?
no, it's Dana
Holler?
White has Howler Head
Yeah, or that one. Yeah,
banana
you had
whiskey.
that?
I haven't tried it. Mm-mm.
I've seen it on the shelf, and every time I'm like, oh, I'm gonna buy it. I'm like, man,
Have you had the screwball?
yeah, I'm not like peanut butter.
You don't
whiskey,
like the
no,
peanut butter
no.
whiskey? It's pretty good.
I'm sure you could mix it with something that'd be good, but
Probably some rum.
We did something with the peanut butter whiskey where we mixed it with like a grape whiskey and they called it like a PB&J. It was kind of.
I've heard of this before.
Yeah, it's kind of good. But
great.
I don't know, dude. I
whiskey?
don't like all that. You know what I'm saying? I just want like if I want whiskey, I just want like I want it to taste like whiskey.
Right.
You know. As I'm getting older, I definitely feel like,
As I'm getting older.
bro, dude. I'm
Fucker ain't even cracked
Bro.
30.
Here we go.
hold on.
your popcorn.
Back
All
when
of
I was
us
a young
age
lad.
at the same time.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody's getting older. Everyone.
Right.
So it's like whenever people do that, I'm like, I mean, you're getting older too. We both are.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh.
Oh,
Hey, bring those in here.
Come on
Yeah.
in, Kai.
Bring those in here.
Come on in, Kai.
Bring those in here. Throw us one.
We're gonna have a
Those are
special
awesome.
guest.
It's not done yet. Throw us one.
That looks like Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, check out them new kicks. Y'all thought I didn't
Whoa.
have. Y'all thought I didn't have swag. Look at that.
How does a guy get a pair of dudes like that?
Yeah.
Plug.
Plug.
Waiting for it.
Bar HK. What's the website? barhk.com. Check them out. Yeah. barhkco.com. All right.
There you go.
Tons of interruptions this podcast, but that's all right.
Oh.
Decent toss. Not the best catch. Anyways. All right, guys, back to the podcast. What were we even talking about?
Nothing of
How
any
old you were?
substance.
Huh? Yeah, but everybody gets older. So, yeah, I'm just saying, yes, I'm younger than you guys. And yes, I'm only
He's
28.
got so many life experiences.
I know. I got a few. Come on, bro.
So anyway, as you've gotten older, what has happened?
I've ventured away from beer. I mean, granted, I like drinking beer, but like if I was just to like have some drinks tonight, I would rather just have like a couple whiskeys.
It's in your
I
DNA
really-
too.
And the thing is, I like drinking beer, but like if I'm here hanging out, I just want like one or two. The beer just makes me feel bloated.
Yeah.
Like, and I used to be able to like drink as many beers as we could in a night, and I'd just be like, oh, what? But now I'm like, I drink like 3 beers. I'm like, oh gosh, my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Did that happen to you guys?
Oh yeah,
when you got older?
100%.
Does it still do that to where you feel like
Yeah.
you like ate a full meal?
It gets worse.
I literally-
I think it does too.
Yeah,
I would agree.
I would, if I'm gonna have a cocktail, I got whiskey in the fall and winter, occasionally in the summer, but in vodka in the summer.
Nate's move is that what's that stuff that you put in there with the apple cider and the whiskey?
Ooh,
What are those called?
Oh yeah, that's coming. That season's getting ready to come up.
With the cinnamon stick in there. What's that called?
I don't know, just bourbon and apple cider.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
good.
So I'm sure there's a name for it, but I just drink bourbon and apple cider.
It's good.
Mhm.
He brought one over. He
John
puts a little
Warner's the
cinnamon
one
stick in
that
it.
got
I'm
me
like,
on that.
He let us all try it. It was good.
yeah.
Was he doing the cinnamon sticks too?
No, he was doing tequila
Oh, that's right.
in apple cider, and I get mean.
I think
when
you got the cinnamon stick idea from when we were hunting in Tornado Alley.
I think he's,
Those guys
I
were
don't
putting
ever
it
put
in
cinnamon
coffee.
stick in. That's
That
in
is so
everything in his
clutch.
coffee. No,
That-
like
It's not my jam.
No.
You don't like it?
I mean, I
You
don't.
did it?
Not in the coffee, no.
I did. I
Like
mean,
what?
Everett
Like
showed
what
me.
is wrong with regular black coffee?
No, it's
Nothing.
good.
That's
Not a
just
damn
it. Like
thing.
if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
I know, but dude, get this. All right,
I'm
freaking
not
Scrooge.
gonna lie, I like it.
You can't have a little cinnamon during
Hey.
Christmas time.
Hey.
Well, what I've learned as I've gotten older.
Hey, he's called Papa Ron for a reason.
That's right.
Yeah.
Your papa's talking.
You don't
Respect
like a
your
little
elders.
creamer every once in a while?
Huh?
You don't like a
I
little
don't
creamer?
ever do creamer.
No.
I like half and half.
No.
I never do creamer.
I'd rather not have coffee. Give me a Mountain Dew instead if you're
But
going
I
to
will
ruin
do
my
the
coffee
cinnamon
with
stick.
cream.
Half
What?
and
I will
half?
do the like cinnamon stick in there, but I never do creamer. It just seems like it waters it down.
What about like
I want it to be
honey
bitter
and coconut
and
oil?
nasty. Like I know that sounds crazy, but
What?
I want to
Honey
sip my
and
coffee.
coconut
And go.
oil.
No.
It's actually good for you in the morning.
What'd you put?
Honey and coconut oil. So I do honey, coconut oil in half and half in the morning in my coffee. Slows your metabolism down. Like you're not as hungry. You don't get that caffeine hunger mid-morning.
I think I'm just going to stick to regular black coffee.
Yeah,
Bro, where
me
the hell
too.
you getting canola oil?
Not canola, coconut.
I know what you said. No, that's funny. But coconut, what's the benefits of coconut oil? Is there any?
It's
Or
like
it
that
just tastes
bulletproof coffee.
it just tastes better?
Yeah, and it's not. You don't have a bunch of sugar in it. It
I
gives
don't
you
know
that
if I
natural.
like coconut though.
You don't
You
really
like
taste
coconut?
it. It's not
No.
like
What's
you,
that?
Like,
What's the candy bar? Enjoy. Is that what it is?
Almond Joy.
No,
Almond
those,
Joy.
those are the
Almond
bigs.
Joy.
Enjoy.
God. Almond
Sometimes
Joy.
I feel like a nut. Sometimes I don't. Almond Joy's got nuts. Mounds don't. That's the commercial for
I got
Mounds
you.
and Almond Joy.
You like coconut cream pie?
Okay, I can do that.
I can do that. I can do that.
Just checking.
What do you think is the top tier dessert? Ice cream, pie, cheesecake, cookie/brownie. What do you think is top tier dessert? Like or
Top
cobbler?
tier.
Hey, cobbler. I
Mine.
fuck with cobbler.
How about some apple crisp?
That's a good one.
Have you had a peach crisp?
No, but I've had a peach cobbler.
Oh, peach crisp is even better.
Really?
Oh yeah, with the oats, everything.
I will say, dude, I do like a little cobbler.
I'm not a big dessert person, though.
Either am I. I want things salty or like meaty. You know,
I'm
like
pretty
I want meat
simple.
or salty stuff.
Chocolate chip cookie. You will win my heart over every single time. Don't give me a birthday cake.
Oh, cake. I forgot cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't give me a birthday
Oh.
cake is one of the most overrated things ever.
Exception. German chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, bro.
It's good. It's good.
Hey, and don't it, doesn't that have coconut in it?
Yeah.
That's in that.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
icing. Yeah.
That is fire.
Like a strawberry shortcake, though. Like,
I do like
Angel-
cheesecake.
Mm.
I am bad
Cheesecake's
about
good.
cheesecakes.
I'm a blackberry.
But cheesecake kind of has like a little sour taste to it. Is that just me?
if you're just getting like plain cheesecake,
Yeah. Like kind of sourish.
Hey, I like a good key lime pie too.
I wondered if that would come up. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
blackberry cobbler and homemade ice cream, dude, you can't go wrong.
You mentioned all of these things, and I'm still going to go for the chocolate chip cookie first.
Really?
You're ridiculous. That's the last
Homemade,
thing I'd grab.
like regular, just homemade.
Oh, love
Chocolate
chocolate
chip
chip
cookies?
cookies. I don't care if it came from Walmart, Costco,
Yeah.
home, wherever. Love me chocolate chip
You
cookies.
remember the ones that we had at school that had the like little saran wrap around them? What were those called? Oh my
They were
gosh, but
huge,
they
though.
were giant. These giant chocolate chip cookies. My mom would fill my like you would have like your bank account for lunch money. I'm sure they got it for your guys' kids.
Yep, they do.
So she would like fill it up and be like, "All right, you gotta get lunch, whatever." Hell no, dude! I was getting them cookies freaking every other hour. I would go to the because the lunch ladies would stay open. Remember, like the lunch ladies would be there whenever we were like passing in the hallways.
Well, we did breakfast too.
They did but what I'm saying, like, if you were going from third hour to fourth hour, you could run by the cafeteria, and the lunch ladies would be in there, and you could just get like all cart stuff. You remember that? But they had these cookies that were like this big. I used to go get a chocolate milk and one of those cookies, sit at the back of class, eat one of those cookies, and just
I don't know why.
wash
but
it down with chocolate milk,
Hey.
dude. Oh my god!
You remember the cookies we had for turkey season in Kansas? Oh, my mom made them. oatmeal scotchies and chocolate or salted caramel cookies. Oh,
Dude, she
phenomenal.
filled up a gallon.
I want to
bag.
know how a gallon bag. Really?
A gallon bag.
Yeah, and apparently that's Heartland Waterfowl's not good enough to be a part of that.
I'll-
Action.
hey,
We'll
I'll have
put a
her-
request.
we'll
You
put
were
it
just
in-
bragging about this is season
Hey,
3. This is my 3rd season on the road to Heartland, and I have not tasted one of these
Hey,
cookies that
listen,
you guys take turkey hunting without H-Dub.
Listen, dude, she don't make it for everybody.
Well,
All right. So hey, we'll put in a request.
Hey,
We'll put in a request, and we'll
I'm
see.
putting in a request globally.
but we're
Her
gonna have to
name's
do.
Melissa.
But are they better
Yes,
than
Melissa.
Everett's mom's monster cookies though?
Are those good? What's the monster? Is that the
It's
has
like
the
everything.
M&Ms
No, that's
No,
and
it's
oatmeal?
chocolate chip, M&Ms.
oatmeal.
Oatmeal.
I think there's
Yeah, I
oatmeal
know what
in
you're
them.
talking about. The monster cookies. Those are fire. I like those.
but do you like pumpkin?
No.
You don't. Dude, she makes a phenomenal pumpkin bread.
Oh, you can take that.
I like
turkey
banana
hunting.
bread. Oh
She
my
makes a good
gosh.
banana bread too.
Banana
she does
bread's
the
fire.
muffins too.
Does she put nuts in them?
Nope.
People who put nuts in banana bread.
That's the best part.
You don't like
No.
the nuts? It just adds a little texture to it, a little crunch.
No. Keep your nuts out of my banana bread.
These
Okay.
nuts.
These nuts.
Yeah.
We got to step up our snack game here in season 10.
Yep.
As in
This
blind
is a big
snacks.
season.
It's a big
Well, it used to
season.
be the wives and girlfriends always sent us on the road with snacks. Now we've been doing it too long. We don't get that treatment. Now you just get a bunch of grief.
Yeah, we got to step it up with the snack deal. We do a decent job. I mean, we had the cinnamon rolls, and we had some stuff like that.
They
But
do a good job. Like first trip in Nodak, Haley makes a bunch of stuff for us.
She does.
yeah, but I
Always
like.
got the peanut butter pretzels.
I'm not
for
gonna
the
lie, I
truck.
do like a little hot plate meal.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever Nate's got like some eggs and some freaking biscuits and gravy or something like that,
You
just
just
sitting
throw
in
a
the
Blackstone
blind.
in the trailer,
Sounds
like-
nice. We should just get one of those little Blackstones.
It's
Hey,
super
you know
easy.
what? Hey, you know what?
I can.
You know what? Proposition here.
Oh boy, here we go.
You know what? Down there in the filming suite, and me and Q's blind, we got a little room. Got a little
Okay.
extra room because there's only 2 of us in there.
Sounds
How about
like
we
a
get-
job for Nate Meyer to make breakfast in the blind.
Dude, I love
How about we
cooking
get us a
breakfast
little
in the morning.
Blackstone? We'll put it right between me and Q. We'll cook the sauce and cook the sauce right there.
Man,
That's
I'm
just
so
kinda like the
nervous
thing
something's
that-
going to catch on fire.
Well, that's all right. I can tell you, like, I have cooked a lot
I
of
did
breakfasts
catch
in
the blind on fire
and- yeah, because you
in Valley Oaks. Yeah.
That's because you were horsing around.
Yeah, I was horsing
We've never
around.
intentionally caught anything on fire cooking breakfast.
No.
No,
We've
you're
had
just-
some-
No, I was building a campfire in the blind.
no, you're sending out SOS signals.
Yeah.
That was a cold morning.
It was.
I remember
That was a cold one.
We had a little delay too.
Didn't you guys go get donuts?
No,
Or somebody went and got
somebody
donuts.
I think somebody did. Get,
We went and got that.
I think Cole and Lucas went. and got
Yeah,
it.
we had some.
Were we down in
Raymore.
that bottom on that snowy morning?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
that's
remember.
what
And remember,
that.
we were all sitting in the trucks, and like a big group just finished right in front of our eye. We were up on the hill looking down at them,
Yep.
and this big group just finishes in the decoys. We're like, "All right, I
Yeah,
think it's time to go.
It's time to go.
Instantaneously, all the doors fly open and
Yeah,
everybody's
we're
in a
like,
scurry.
all right, everybody's running down. the
Meanwhile,
road.
we got 300 yards to walk to get at least to get to the blind.
That was a fun, dude. Sometimes you get into the magical moments when it's snowing when you're hunting waterfowl.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it just all the like waterfowl stars align, and you're just like, this is a waterfowl hunt. When you're shooting geese in the snow over a field or even a pond or something, there's nothing like. I mean, I'm just thinking. I mean, of course, footage wise, when you got slow mo of snow and geese coming into a
Yep.
pond, oh
Everything's just so
gosh.
dynamic. Rich.
Oh, it looks so, and it's just like it. Mother Nature, you can see it doing its thing in all aspects of it. A flying goose coming in, a freaking snowstorm coming. Like when those stars align, when you ever like, I could imagine at Buck's place, if it's snowing, you're in one of those pits, and you do have one of those duck hunts where it's just freaking lights out. You're seeing a ton of ducks. They're finishing like crazy, and it's snow. I can just imagine that snow in the flooded corn like that.
You know what?
Yeah,
Well, the
as a
birds just
waterfowl-
commit. They commit better when it's snowing.
You know what
Yeah.
you just reminded me of?
What?
Early Grand Pass days.
I never hunted Grand Pass.
I
ever.
did.
I grew up in
I
that
did
place.
too.
I know you did.
Yeah. That's how I cut my teeth.
Yeah, man. I couldn't. My senior year that I dropped out of high school, I hunted that place 42.
Put that mic up closer a little bit.
The year I dropped out of high school, I hunted that place 42 straight days.
Wow.
Dude, there's
Every
only, there's
day.
only
And you could draw
60 days of duck
You got a
season.
pill every time.
What was you
Yeah,
doing?
back then, well, even if you didn't draw, like even if you didn't draw on an initial draw, they used to refill up until 11 o'clock. So what would happen is like if you were in the top like 10 groups, like on the pills, which back then there wasn't that many people drawing. But you would end up in the hottest pool in the marsh because they would limit out by 8 o'clock, get back up there, it's 9 o'clock. And that was before everybody really knew that 11 to 1 was the best time to be there.
I had to find that out the hard way. I
Yeah.
love that you just said that because we hunted up there for the longest time and we were just like, oh, dude, this sucks. And then we were like, let's just wait it out. And then 11 hit when everybody else bounced and everybody else shot the birds everywhere else. And then we started smashing. And it literally was 11 to 1. Everybody else bounced.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
you
they
get
shot
in
their
this-
limit, you know?
It could be. That's some of the best times. But the only thing I don't like about
Didn't you and like Blake?
And Jake and Trent went
Yeah,
up there. And
you
we
guys did the quick draw though, and then you guys went
Man.
like in the middle of the day.
Hey, you want to know the quick draw secret? Or the put your hand in the bat? Do they do that anymore?
No, you're predetermined your pill now.
Remember when you had to use to draw for the pill? I always
Find the slickest one.
slickest.
Yeah, you want to find the smoothest one in there because when somebody draws a low pill, they're so excited about it and they got that thing in their pocket.
Oh,
they're
he's
grabbing
going way deeper than that one.
they got that pill in their pocket. I'm guilty of it. They got that pill in their pocket.
then
in their
they're just
coat
like,
pocket, and they're
"Oh
just
my
sitting
gosh."
there rubbing it. Like,
Yeah.
oh man,
I did that.
we're in today. We got pill 2. Man, it's gonna be lights out.
Nate says some shit sometimes where I go like this. How are you not building rockets? You know what I'm saying? Like he'll say sometimes he'll say some shit where I'm just like,
Makes sense.
well, okay.
Like, why didn't I
you're
think of that?
Yeah, but I used to always just okay. So he had a philosophy. Mine was just back right corner. I just would go,
Hell, I'm reaching in there and I'm rolling my hand over the top to see which one rolls the easiest and smoothest, and that's when I grab
Hey,
it up.
there's Dakotas in the world, and there's Nate Meyer.
yeah, I was always just back right. I was literally thought I was gonna do some like groundbreaking info to you guys and be like, hey, back right corner. Nate pulls that out of his ass.
Wasn't trying to one up you. I thought you were going the direction I was with it.
No, yeah, I always would just go back right corner, and I used to pull pretty good freaking pills.
But if you went down to like Shallow Sage, it was in a wheel, so you couldn't.
Yeah,
feel
you
the
can't
bottom.
It's like a
do that.
lottery,
Like,
huh?
and then it spit it out, and you're like,
Dude, is that
Ooh.
is going on one of those public hunts and doing the draw system? Is that not one of the most anxiety-ridden things?
oh, it's terrible.
Here's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
They fill you in they pack all of us in tons of freaking different waterfowlers, which is egos out the freaking wazoo. You pack them all in this little room that they got heaters going on like crazy. Everybody's sweating their nuts off in there. It's 3 o'clock in the morning because everybody's been up since 1 because they had to drive there and they're trying to beat everybody up there to get a parking spot.
Or in Nate's case, he never went to bed.
Half
lot,
of
man.
no. Half of them are still drunk. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's this weird freaking thing just to pack everybody in there and then just go like this. Okay, now you're gonna pick a little egg and hopefully you have the right egg. And if you don't, you're more than screwed. You got to go find somewhere else to hunt. Like that was the game. You were like, if we don't draw a good enough pill, we might get sent home. And it's like, what are we gonna do? Drive to Martha Perry?
It's funny.
Well, early on, like it would have been probably like once you guys probably got to the age where you were driving and going to the conservation areas. Like when I was a kid, you pretty much got like. It wasn't that you were going to get turned away. Like, you got in more than you got turned away. It was, like, if you were going to get a good spot or not. Like, then it got to the point, like, when I would join, like, 2001, 2002, 2003, right in that area is, like, when everything really started getting published on the internet. And because it used to be every Friday. Every Friday used to be the duck report numbers. And they would do a weekly average of the bird per person average on it. So you had to check the sports page on Friday and then decide where you were going to go. Like, oh man, they're at Bob Brown, they're at Shallow Sage. Like, that's
Right.
how you knew. Like, scouting, all the stuff that we do nowadays wasn't as advanced. Like,
Yeah,
back
you used
then.
to like call in a number. Didn't you have to do that?
Well, they didn't even really have it all over the phone. Like, you had to really like wait for the paper.
Oh, really?
Then the internet came out. Then they started leaving it on the voicemail. So then you'd be calling the hotline, like,
Yeah,
to see
I
what the
remember.
average is.
I was right at the. I started right at that era.
Was
Where
it like
you-
the
when-
Sunday paper?
It was the Kansas City Star, but a Friday.
Friday.
Friday they used to do a fishing report, and then they would do waterfowl like population numbers, and they would have like all the refuges in Kansas and all the refuges in Missouri. Do
you feel like they were accurate?
Yeah,
I don't know how they could be accurate even today. Like that's
well, my point is that whenever I see that stuff today, when they tell me there's this many numbers in Squaw Creek and this many numbers out of Bob Brown or whatever, I don't believe any of it.
I mean,
it's hard.
You go on to DU, you go on Ducks Unlimited on their website, and they say somebody's claiming that there's this many ducks here or this. I don't believe it.
It's such a ballpark, in my opinion. It's such a ballpark for you to go because, dude, even if you're in a plane or even if you're in a helicopter looking over a marsh, you're still going like that. You're still going like this. It's about 200, 300.
My point is I feel like it's always inflated. I don't.
Well,
feel like
that's better for the sport.
but
that's my point. Is that it's not true.
Yeah,
Some
is that they're
places,
trying to
though,
inflate it to get you to go there. And
some of the places would go under the numbers because
Back
they didn't want to
then-
draw the crowd.
back then,
I just wish they. I mean, I know they needed to like keep track of the population, but I wish they didn't publish anything. Like I wish it was just left up to instinct, weather, and word of mouth. Like, if you don't have the right circle and you're not going to put the time in, just don't give it up that easy because you're not really teaching them how to hunt. Like
are they still doing reports?
it's worse now. Now like everything's updated daily. And now
so
they
you're
break
not
it.
getting it from the Kansas City Star.
No, now it's on MDC's website. Like you can go to this. Like you can go to Grand Pass and you can see what Pool 3 shot that day later on that night.
Couldn't you call? You used to be able to call and see who shot what where. And also, if you go there, they have it. They go.
They used to have a kill. I mean, they always
had a kill
board.
sheet. Yeah, they had a kill board. So they had a deal on the board, and they had all the different pools and the different places.
You'd report how many that were killed out of
So
the
They
pool.
would put it up there.
the day before, they would go. You would show up and you go. Oh, the guys that hunted
3 North.
3 North, they shot their limit. Or the guys that hunted Wellhouse or whatever, Wellhead, they only shot 3 birds, whatever. So, but that's the other thing too.
But then you got the guys that were the killers that would go in there and stomp the kill chart, and they wouldn't turn in their numbers because you got to turn in a green card. So there would be guys you would see like one
they
of the
would
best
do that?
pools.
You think people would do that?
Guaranteed, especially
Just
if
to
they knew,
keep it-
if they're
keep it
coming
on the
back
low?
tomorrow, if I'm coming back tomorrow and going to try to draw it, and I got a chance to get in that pool, yeah, I know lots of people that have sandbagged those numbers, or go into a really terrible pool that hasn't killed anything and throw up a big number, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, there's fresh water in there. That's why we killed them all. Like,
I can
yeah,
only
and then
do
you don't
one.
kill
I can only
anything.
do one Grand Pass in a weekend.
I can't do it anymore.
I can only
fun,
do one.
but it's singles and pairs all day long. You don't really get to truly, like for me, the enjoyment I get out of waterfowl hunting is truly working the bird. But when you get there, there's so much competition with just the shots and stuff going on that you don't really get to work the bird in their element because they're constantly being.
Well, and it's
boogered.
birds that have been beat on.
They're
You
still,
know, it's not like you found.
They get stale really quick.
Yeah, well, and it's not like you found a pond that. Oh, these birds just showed up and they're on this pond and we're gonna go hunt it tomorrow.
And you've watched them and you're letting them get comfy in there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like these birds are getting hunted every freaking day,
Right.
and you get lucky whenever you shoot a limit.
It's
That's why I got out of like doing that. I'm just like I don't want to feel lucky whenever I shoot 6 birds. When we
Yeah,
shoot, I don't want
my
to.
thing when they get stale though, that's like what taught me how to kill ducks.
Yeah.
Them getting stale, and then once we started getting turned around, and then that's when I really started to learn how to scout and finding like other concepts because I was a public land hunter for a long, long time. That's all I had to hunt, and so like once I would get turned around from Grand Pass, then it's starting to search other areas that we can that are public ground that you can just get into. They're mediocre, and that was before everything was on like Onyx. Like people didn't know where all this stuff was. I mean, you had to buy an atlas, a physical
Yeah, this
atlas.
is pre-Onyx.
Yeah,
That's the other thing.
Pre-internet, pre-plat maps, pre-Google Earth. Like you used to have to you buy an atlas from NDC, and it'd have all the conservation areas in that county.
plat map.
Yeah, well, it's similar to a plat map,
Right.
very similar to a plat map. But it would have where all the conservation area is, all the regulations of like what you could do on it, and so they would have like a little wetland symbol on there, and it may be like just an area that might get wet every 3 years, or it might be an area that constantly holds water. So you see those little wetland areas or creeks or tributaries going through it, and go there and scout and see if there's any birds. And that's how I had some of my most memorable hunts. Was you go there thinking you're going to shoot 3 or 4 ducks, and all of a sudden it's like, holy, where'd this come from?
You want to know a hot take that I have? It's a hot take. I think that waterfowl changed a little bit when the Onyx stuff and being able to have the access to the property and knowing who the property, because then it allowed
100%.
and this is going to sound outlandish, but I think you guys will agree with it. Before, if you had permission on all these different ponds, you usually had a connection. You knew a farmer, or you knew this, or you knew this. Now, you could live in an apartment in Kansas City, know no farmers, drive out to Odessa, let's say, knock on, and then find out and let's say there's no farmhouse on the place. It's just this field. And then inside the field, it's all corn and it's got a pond and there's 300 geese on it. You can go like this. Click. Oh, this is this person. This is their tax address. Pull up to their house. And then, boom, he's having a conversation. Mm-hmm. Before, it was so hard. You had to have connections.
Not only that,
you had to have people that you knew that had ponds or something like that. Or otherwise... Now, granted, if you got a pond and there's a house and you go like this, okay, I probably ought to go knock on that house. But do you know how many times that I have been scouting and it's like this random field that I see geese in and I'm like, I don't know whose house this is. Mm-hmm. Who owns this? I think there was a little like shift in waterfowl because dude, there's some people that are waterfowling now, and you guys are older than that. But there's some people waterfowl that only know it like that.
True. I mean,
that's fair.
It takes it's like anything. Like even like when you're comparing success, like if it's easier, like the easier the information is, the greater your success rate's going to be on it because it's the less legwork that you physically have to put into it. So if I can click on it, find the tax address, go to that address, white page, Google it on the internet, whatever I got to do to find how to get all on that permission. Before it was a lot more effort. So if you start have to put more effort into it, the chances of people doing it, you're going to start drawing a smaller and smaller pool. You're going to find the guys that are going to do it are the guys that really want it.
Right.
The guys that are just kind of going in there sloppy and lazy. Now it's made it even easier. That to me is the only downside of it because it takes a little bit of the work out of it.
Right.
But on the hindsight,
I think it's for the better, though.
It is overall,
now,
yes.
Does it have some down effects? I would say.
Well, you're never going to make change and not have a downside.
Right.
There's always going to be
stuff
something you can find wrong with it. And,
right.
And it's just like, what do you want to harp on with it?
But dude, I wouldn't trade it for nothing. The fact that I can do that with Onyx now, I feel so confident. Mm-hmm. I used to feel lost. Like, oh my gosh, how are we going to find... I mean...
Well, you got to name the thing, too.
And this is out of experience. Whenever I was watching you guys on TV, hunting all this badass shit, and I'm like, oh, my dad's got a front yard. Like, we can throw some decoys out there. We got a pond back there.
Yeah.
I'm like, and maybe we can, see if we can... Oh, this people... it was so...
He had a back pond.
Yeah, we did shoot some
Backyard
geese off.
And we
it.
did shoot them in your front yard, so...
And we have shot them in the front yard. So, hey, listen. It could be done.
It worked.
It could be done.
It worked.
All right. But all I'm saying is I remember watching that and just going how do they just even know all these people? And I was mainly talking about the home stuff. And, of course, it would have to do with a lot with Nate. But I just was would think, how do they know all these people to have all this badass? It's one thing to have a place to go hunting. Mm-hmm. It's another place to have a place where you go and shoot limits over and over. You're all throughout waterfowl season. We were oh, we had 3 good hunts on our one pond that we had. Hell yeah. You know what I mean? And then we're watching you guys, and it's every freaking weekend. You just beating the shit out of them.
It wasn't every weekend.
Maybe
you
wasn't
not in the early days on TV. It looked like it was in the
Right,
early
but you
days
know what I'm
before
saying.
Nate started getting more involved with what he was doing and had that much
That's
access.
how I got involved.
Right, but then you got more access to more spots as we kept doing this.
Yeah, because I needed to keep feeding you guys. Back when I first started hunting, it was me and 3 guys. We'd go out and shoot our geese. I could hunt the same thing. I didn't need to. We were in a great traffic area, and it didn't matter if they were there or not.
Right.
You go through 5-8 dozen decoys, and you'll shoot a 3-4 man limit, no problem. But then as we started doing the show and when we were home, it was all right, now we're gonna allow us to push that, and it started to test me. I started to get the confidence and wind under my sails. I'm like, how many guys can I get away with this weekend?
Right.
I got a laundry list of people that want to go, and then as the results kept coming down, and we kept producing good hunts. And I mean, those big hunts are chaotic, but they are a lot of fun. Like hearing that many people rip into them and the laughter. Like,
I hate that.
You want to
you
know
don't
one
like
of my favorite
goose hunting
hunts?
though.
One of my favorite hunts was that when the first hunt of the lease. That was just a little homie group.
I like the small intimate.
I mean,
hunts.
granted, we had like 6
That's
dudes.
what I'm talking about. I don't like it
Hey.
when there's 10, 12, 15 guns blazing on a
Yeah.
group of freaking 8 birds.
I do recall this last season us 4 only being at a hunt.
Oh yeah, that's another one of my favorite ones. That was a
It
good.
is.
Other than it raining, it's
Yeah.
nuts off.
They all mean. I mean, they all have their.
I like the small intimate groups, 4 to 6
too.
people.
Mm-hmm. Wyoming was fun.
Yeah.
It was just us 4.
Dude, Wyoming had to be. I mean, if you go like this, if you ask anybody, okay, you shoot limits every day, how do you not have fun? Okay, that's one thing. But also, so that's of course you're gonna have fun with that.
108.
So the hunting, obviously, like
Are you getting a beer?
the hunting, obviously is like check, like perfect hunting. Obviously, I mean we shot limits every day, but just how it went and like. I don't know. For me, it was like being able to get done early. I was able to get the edit done early. We got to hang out and drink some whiskey, and we got to like, with us having the Airbnb, go upstairs.
That Airbnb was.
Oh, it was
it clutch?
dude.
Dude, every time.
It was my. I'm telling you this.
I'll
it
do
was
that
my
over
favorite,
a hotel.
He doesn't
any and every
know
time.
the early
Yes,
HW
I would.
days.
Yes, yes,
The-
I went to
The
Saskatchewan.
Rotel Motel.
Raoul.
The Saskatchewan hotel is rough.
The thing, it looks nice when you guys
No.
Yes, it is.
No. No.
You don't think it's rough?
No. Compared to some of the places we've stayed before.
Okay, I've stayed worse
You did
places.
not.
No.
And you were not
To-
there.
to
you
what-
did not go on the hunt in
I'm saying to what we stayed
Buffalo.
now.
Where?
in Buffalo when we hunted the Niagara.
Oh, no. I heard about that. That was awful.
And Logan, like we pull up to this place. And
Micah, hey, you gotta.
is it? All right, we're back on.
Yeah.
So we pull up to this place after we meet everybody, and we come back and when we go to check in, we pull up. And as soon as we get out of the rental, look down, and there's 3 fireball shooters, a spoon, and a rubber all sitting together like somebody had just thrown out the
Them
car
motherfuckers
window.
had a good night.
Yeah. Now I'm looking at this place, and it looks like straight Bates Motel. Like it's lights are flickering, like, and I look over at Logan, and I was like, "What are we staying in?" So we go and we check in. We get up there, walk into my room, and like I'm looking around, like tiles are kind of falling off the shower, and I like pull back the comforter, and I look at my sheet, and it is a king size sheet that has been cut down to fit a full bed, like cut in half, and both the sheets in the room are like that. And we get in the truck and we're headed over to go to the draw to get a blind on the river. And I was talking to Logan. I was like, "Hey, where did you find this hotel?" He's like, "Well, on TripAdvisor it was 4 stars." So like I Googled the name of the place, and then the first thing that pops up at the very top of the search was an ad with a fake reviews that has 4 stars on it. So I clicked on it, I went scrolled down and got to the TripAdvisor one, and it was like, if you could have negative, they would have been negative, and it was just talking about it. But after dark, that place was very scenic.
Yeah, we
Sketchy.
We've
Sketchiest, one of the sketchiest places I've stayed in, like on an HW trip.
Dude, I'm telling you, like that hotel that we stay in Saskatchewan
It's
is
not that bad.
it's premium compared to anything else. I mean, as far as the hotel's concerned.
The
I know, but
Animal
where
Farm
we
in
stay
Hutchinson,
now, dude, we stay in a lot of good
Oh.
places now.
the Ponderosa.
Yeah, that
tell
wasn't
you what.
terrible, but
I'll tell you what, if we can do Airbnbs,
It's the game.
oh
It's
It's
shoot,
the game, dude. So whenever we were in Wyoming, in the basement they already had like this desk, like completely set up, like this big desk, like big wooden
Complete
desk.
central hub.
So I put all my stuff in there, and then they had like all these recliners, and then they had a big screen. So after we got done editing, or as soon as we got done hunting, we'd go and sit in the recliners and watch Nelk Boys on the TV and just hang out, drink a couple whiskey, like. And then after that, like, who did we have over? We had your buddy.
oh yeah,
Anyways, we had some friends over, and after we got done with the YouTube edit for the day, like we'd go up into the living room, and we'd all sit there, drink whiskey, and watch the edit from the day. Like it
Yep.
was so like that trip.
order Pizza Hut.
yeah, it was
Oh,
chill.
dude, it was so chill.
That and it's just
And we were
like-
done early, so
Yeah.
it wasn't like
Oh,
super
yeah.
heavy grind. It was like, all right, the business is done.
Yeah,
I
the
can go
first day
down.
we were
Like,
done by 8:00 in the morning. I think it was
And that's-
8:04.
Man, that is that makes it like that turns the trip in from a ton of work to almost a vacation at that point because your work gets done so early. Like you're not having to grind, you're not back out. You already know pretty much a game plan you're going to hunt tomorrow because things that work today are probably going to work tomorrow, and you're not out having to search. It's like when you're getting your butt beat on a trip, and you're, especially when we're freelancing, and it's just like, God, like.
Yeah, but Wyoming is different from the standpoint, though, is that we're hunting out of pits that these
Traffic.
guys, and you're running traffic and all
Right.
these birds, right? So when you're going out and scouting, you're not looking to find the X. You're trying to find what is the most birds that are flying
Flying on
over.
that line.
Yeah. And so you're not going to get permission on anything.
Right.
You've got 16 options. How many birds are flying
Wind's
over
going
your
to be this tomorrow.
Right.
These are the
Yes.
lines they were on tonight. And I think
So it is what it is.
Yeah.
So it's naturally set up to be easier.
And this last
Same.
year, they had so many birds.
Most geese I've ever seen in my entire life.
So many birds. Like, unreal.
Canadians.
Yeah.
Most Canadians.
Canada is not
Canadians.
Canadians. We weren't hunting people.
Canadians, eh?
Eh.
Eh?
Sorry.
Where the
Canada
poutine, eh?
Geese. Okay.
Yeah, there were birds in every field. Every field you drove by.
The one trip that I miss really bad is Canada.
Oh, me too.
Mhm.
Me
And
too.
the reason why is I like it's the part of waterfowl that I wish was easier, and I think that's probably why I like it in Canada, because it is easier up there. But I like doing the scout. And here's the thing: when you go scouting in Canada, it's not like, are we going to find birds tonight? It's like, we find so many birds. What birds are we going to hunt tomorrow?
Yeah.
You know, like, and it's not like, can we get permission tonight? It's
Well,
like,
the
we
other
get
that's
permission on
just it.
three
I was
things.
getting ready to say is that there's no anxiety about knocking on a door because
Right.
they're so friendly there.
So friendly, and typically they're like, yeah, go for it.
They want them gone.
It's like, it's the dream. There's so many birds, so that's not a problem. And then it's not like you're dealing with negative people that don't want to give you permission. It's like the most like, it's like dick high fastballs. You know what I mean? It's just like, ding.
But they haven't been burned as many times as like a heavily populated area, like the area we're in. Like a lot of like what I run into when I'm trying to get new permission is they're worried about getting sued. Like something happened because Missouri, with the way we're wrote, if you don't have a lease on it, like if they get hurt, even if they sign a waiver, like they can still come after you on it.
Could you sign day leases?
What you could sign a day lease, yeah, if you were a smart outfitter and if you were a smart freelancer and like weekend guy, like, and somebody gave you that's
Like
a
if
way
you
to
had
overcome
a folder that had
folder
it
of
typed up and said, hey, this is my address.
fill it out
this
like a
is-
contract,
Yeah.
sign it right there. That frees them of their obligation. Like I shouldn't be telling people this stuff, but yeah, that's the easiest way to like. That's one way to overcome that objection is to have that be prepared.
Yeah.
And also like too, when you do that, like you're gonna instill confidence in that landowner because you've done your research. They know that you're protecting them, and like you care about what you're doing. If you've
Right.
gone through the thought process and you're well prepared, it's no different than pitching somebody on anything you sell. Like that's what you're out there to do. You're trying to sell yourself to allow them to pick up permission to allow you on their property.
Yeah, do you got a plan or not?
The more you're prepared for it, the more you can shut down their objections with solid answers and understand what to say and what to. But some people are just jerks. Like they've had bad experiences or they just don't like hunting, and you're going to get your nose. But you don't sell 100% in anything in sales. So
Dude, I heard a quote the other day. Sorry, it jumped in my head as you were saying that. I heard a quote the other day. It's freaking brilliant. Bad decisions lead to experience.
Mm.
No.
No, that's-
Inexperience leads to bad decisions. Bad decisions lead to experience.
It's like failure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, you can't succeed unless you fail.
Right.
Like, and people are so scared of failure. Well, to me in life, if I'm not failing at something, that means I'm not putting enough effort into it to try to grow.
All right. What do they
Like,
call that? Feel forward?
Fail forward, yeah.
Yeah, feel forward.
I think that's a majority of the reason why there's only a small group of people who are mega successful because they understand that concept. Because everybody else, it's the fear of failure that stops them before they try.
I mean, we're one of the few countries in the world where you can fail, go to ground zero, file bankruptcy, and turn around and be a millionaire in the next year. You just got to keep trying. And if you care about it and you're passionate about succeeding, like people pick up on that. And the more you start like pushing that and put that in yourself, like people, you're sort. It's amazing the people that start to surround yourself around them. I mean, you're gonna have your people they're gonna doubt you all the way. Like the doubt's what fuels my fire. Like, doubt me all day long. I love doubt.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I like that too.
And then not being afraid of failure. Like, there's this, like, you hear people like, oh man, I'm so tired of working this 9-to-5 job. Like, my boss sucks. Like, I don't feel like there's any growth. You can change that. Like, either reevaluate the way you're doing things and why you're not going anywhere, if that's the path you want, or try to find something that works for you or something you're passionate
It's
about.
like
You want to know what I've always thought about that? When people complain about, oh man, my job sucks, or my boss sucks, or I hate what I'm doing, or this blah blah blah. I always think, and maybe it's just I've had a different upbringing. Both of my parents were entrepreneurs. My grandpa was an entrepreneur. So maybe that has something to effect with this mindset that I have about it. But whenever I hear people complaining about, like, especially job situation of like what they're in, I'm like, I know, but you signed up for it. So if you're working at whatever, I don't care, whatever job, and your boss is an asshole and you don't get paid enough, I know, but whenever you were in the interview and they said this is what the job is and this is about, like, you signed up for it, and you're the only one in control of you leaving. Your mom isn't going to freaking say, hey, let's quit in 2 weeks and let's go do this other thing. Your girlfriend ain't going to do that. You're this, you're that, you're blah, blah, blah. Like, that's the one thing where I'm like, when people complain about it, I'm like, but it's your decision. Like, you're making that decision.
100%.
So,
If it's
like,
bothering
what
you
are we
enough to
doing?
Complain about it, make a change.
Like,
Same
that's
input,
what I'm
same
saying.
outcome.
Like, complaining about it does nothing. That does not move the needle to changing the situation whatsoever. Complaining about it doesn't. It literally affects it zero.
Complaining and excuses.
I don't know what to say anymore. Whenever I hear that, I have compassion for it because I've also been in a position where I'm like, man, I don't like what I'm doing and I want to do something different. But it's like, you gotta do something.
I think you're right when you brought up your upbringing, because that's huge. And if I've said it once, I've said it a million times. And you guys being as close to me as you are, you've heard me say it more times than you can count. You're a product of your environment,
Right.
And so, unfortunately, for those people who complain, that's either how they were brought up or they don't know any different, because that's the circle that they live in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you know.
Yeah.
So the biggest piece of advice I could give is that if you're sick of your boss, you're sick of your job, you're sick of the toxic environment, it doesn't mean you have to quit your job today, because you still got to pay your bills.
You gotta put a
But you got to
plan.
plan. You got to start thinking forward. You got to exactly.
And it's not necessarily a move like this. Sometimes it's a move like this, and then like this, and then like this, and then like this.
But
know
you
what I mean?
gotta- but-
Sometimes
It's a
it's not
chess
like,
game. I mean,
oh, I'm leaving this to go to my dream job. It's not that. Sometimes it's, okay, I'm going to leave this 40-hour week job to go work somewhere to where I'm not going to make as much money, but they're going to give me freedom on all my time, so then I can start working on what I actually want to work on. So sometimes you got to go, all right, I'm going to take it in the chin for a little while, but this is going to give me the freedom to start pursuing this. Like, I feel like people, like, you can't go like this. I think a lot of people, and I'm just rambling, but I think that a lot of people go like this and think that they have to leave their job and go to their dream job. And it's not a direct line.
No.
Sometimes you have to get creative. You have to go this way. And then this way you build a couple connections, and all of a sudden it's like, okay.
But how do you build the connection? You build the connection because you recognize the toxic environment that you're in. And you may not know. You may know that this is not what I want. I want something different, but I don't know what different is. I don't know what that thing is.
Right.
The first thing, in my belief, the first thing and the best thing you could do is recognize the negative, toxic environment that you're in, and then identify, well, what do I want to be? I want to be successful. I want to have my freedom. All the things. Okay, who in my circle is doing that? How can I spend more time with them? How can I be a sponge? And so the best thing you can do is recognize the negative environment you're in and start surrounding yourself. You may not know at the time what you want to do, but as soon as you put yourself in a positive environment with an entrepreneurial, framework of people, then I think that is the first step. It's like, okay, I'm going to get a little deep here, but it's no different than when I was going through all my depression and the things that I was in. And you guys have known me. I've always been a person who's got vision and direction. And I got to a point with everything that I was going through emotionally. I was like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I don't have any clarity anymore. And it was when I was able to open up and vocalize to my friends, and actually you three on that day.
Yeah.
And it was Dakota who basically said, you need to do a podcast.
Yeah, I acted like I was Triple H with the chair.
Okay, so this is what happened. I talked. You did. You act like you're hit me over the head with the folding chair. And I say there's a point to all this, but I didn't know what was going to come out of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what I did. Okay, I don't know what's going to come of this. I know I need to do something. I know I have the talent. I know I have the resources. So let me go buy the equipment. So here I go buy this equipment. I take a random picture of it and I post it on Facebook to kind of tease I'm getting ready to do a podcast. A buddy of mine in northern Missouri reaches out and says, hey, you bought some broadcasting equipment, huh? Yeah. Hey, you want to voice track this radio station up in northern Missouri? Yeah, well, we can talk about it. Boom, boom, boom. Just get moving.
It's through motion.
Take the first step. Don't be stagnant. Don't be complacent.
It's through
take
motion.
the first step to get the body in motion. You may not know what direction you're going, but take the first step, and it's crazy.
An object in motion stays in motion.
That's it. And now, I mean, that happened, and now I've opened up a website to where I could potentially be doing voiceover work and MC services and all these different things. Now, it hasn't gotten to a level that I want it yet, but I'm in a hell of a lot better place than when I was not talking about my problem and just feeling sorry for myself and having no clarity on what my future is and what road is I have ahead. Put yourself in a positive environment.
So let me say this. So by taking that first step of going, okay, all right, enough's enough. I'm just going to take a step.
Yep.
I'm going to get this. When doing that, I think this goes with anything with business. I'm literally realizing it with the property management stuff that we're doing right now. I'm like, just keep on doing shit. You're just keep on learning shit, and opportunities are going to come
until you make it.
And if you just keep doing stuff, if you keep operating, it's the same thing. Is you go, okay, I'm going to take this step. Okay, all of a sudden now I'm in the podcast, and then what it does for creative people, I think this. Is whenever you start doing something new, and then it's another door opens, and then another door opens. And then we were on a phone call this week, and we talked about some things in the future. Those wouldn't be ideas if we knew and have been doing what we are doing and know now.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Like, that's what I'm saying is, like, for anyone listening, you just got to go, and you don't know what doors are coming. You're never going to know.
But here's what. But this is the basic fundamental of what I'm trying to echo right now is that some people that hear this, they're going, but I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to go. And the thing that I'm saying is identify people outside of your toxic circle who are doing things. And if you're not friends with them, make friends with them. Get to know them. Hang out with them. What is it that you can offer them? You know?
I did that with you.
Yes, 100%. Nate did it with us.
Yep.
You know,
Keep showing.
I did it.
Jane did it with Valley Oaks.
I did it with HB. I was still working at the radio station.
Right.
There was no Heartland Waterfowl handed to me. I had to show them and prove to them that I had some value from my experience in doing radio.
You also had to prove it, though.
You do
That's
have to
the
prove
thing,
it.
is you also have to prove it.
But how bad do you want it?
Right.
You know, and had I just like, oh, those guys, they won't, I don't have any experience with that, you know, and was talking myself out of it, nothing would have happened.
Right.
So take the first step that you have to take is identifying the toxic environment that you're in and recognizing you don't want to be in that spot for the rest of your life, and start looking around. Well, what do I want to be? Not necessarily what do I want to do.
Who's doing it?
You know, who's doing things. And you will be amazed that once you put yourself in a circle of people who are in motion and they're doing things, then you may not be doing the same thing that they're doing, but it's going to open up a door, or it's going to open up an idea that's going to allow you the opportunity. And people who are of our mindset that I think are entrepreneurial spirited, we like helping other people.
Oh my gosh, dude.
You know,
The
like
generosity
we love helping.
thing.
We love
Front
helping
row-
Nate
front-
with what he's
I'm
doing.
front row of everybody's cheering section.
Yes.
Front row of everybody's
I
cheering
want to be
section.
everybody that's close to me is day one. Like always been your biggest fan, because if you believe me, I believe in you. Like, and again, it's like surrounding yourself with that environment and getting yourself out of that toxic situation. Like, it's easy to get so caught up in it and like let the law of like average, just being an average person, like what a lot of people are, because they are afraid of that risk and that failure. And it's just like overcoming that. It's no different than the first day, like me, the first time I ever started CrossFit, I was scared to death. Like, never lifted weights in high school, college, nothing. Like, I just did what I did. And so walking into a gym and seeing like fit people and all that, like, it was intimidating, but like I knew I wanted to better myself and better my mindset. And you walk in, you do it, you're going to fail, you're going to suck. But you just got to take it and like, it's a learning experience.
But
like,
the people in that gym lifted you up.
They did it because you know what?
They weren't like, oh, you
finished
suck.
their
What are
work.
you doing
No,
here?
they
You don't
did.
belong. No, they're like, hey, you know what? We understand that you're not to our level. Here's some ideas. They're encouraging you.
Well, even on
Do
a
you think?
workout.
Do you think us as humans though approach it like that? Because I know this: if I was to go get a gym membership at a new gym tomorrow, I would be extremely intimidated my first day that I walked in there. Same thing. If I tried to be in outdoor industry, let's rewind. I'm trying to be outdoor industry. We're doing IO stuff, and then I get around you guys, and I'm like, I'm not doing it. They're doing it. You know what I'm saying? I think that us as humans, but this is what I'm talking about. That first step, it's like going through a breakup. A breakup, the first day sucks. Second day sucks. Third day sucks. Fourth day sucks. Fifth day sucks. Sixth day, seventh day, it just gets a little bit easier. Like over time, it just like same thing. Every time you show up to CrossFit, first you're the new guy and it's kind of awkward and then it's like all of a sudden then you meet a buddy and then you show up, hey Nate, what's going on? And then you're like, oh, I kind of feel a little bit comfortable here. Same thing. Once I started like building a relationship with you guys, I'm like, oh, this isn't this like super fan. And then freaking the Heartland Waterfowl guys is like, oh, we kind of have a relationship. Felt a little bit more
your
comfortable.
circle should be building
You know what I'm
you
saying?
and
But
pushing you.
it's over time. You got to go through a rough little awkward spot in anything you do.
But I would also say this, and I've learned this from just my years of trying to take in personal development content from motivational speakers or whatever, and I think there's a lot of truth to this, is that as humans, our brain is built to protect us, to do what is safe. And so whenever we have an uncomfortable feeling or a feeling of intimidation, it's the brain saying, oh, don't put yourself out there. Don't put yourself out there because you might get hurt. You might be ridiculed, you know? And so that's why most people, they're like, the fear of failure stops them.
I try and fight that as much as I can.
I'm not saying it's easy. You know,
I
it's
try
really,
to.
really tough. But once you've done it 1 or 2 times, 3 times, whatever, then you understand, well, if I've done it and I was successful doing it this time, then it gives you the mindset that you can try it again and potentially
And
do
you've
it.
continued to do it even at your age now.
Have you ever thought about this? Have you ever thought about this? Like when you're a kid and you're like learning how to swing a bat, ride a baseball, or
Put the mic to your mouth.
I know I'm terrible. But like when you're a kid, or as you're growing up, you're going to school, you learn how to read, write, play sports, do whatever. You're not a fear of failure there. Like you don't feel like you're being judged, like or sucking. And then as you get older and you get into you think you found your career, and then you find out that's really not what you want. You kind of get out of that learning stage. Like your mind, you're no longer trying to learn new tasks. So whenever you're trying to put yourself in a new situation, it scares the shit out of you. Whereas when you're young, like you don't know what that fear is yet. You don't know
You're
that
not
you're
mature
really
enough
failure.
to understand that, yeah.
What's that?
No, you're not old enough to. You're not mature. Your
Your
brain isn't
brain-
mature, and you haven't developed.
Because you don't have enough life experiences to know what truly like what failure is. Then as you get older, like you know, like you've got responsibilities, people, financial obligations, and then you get to the point where you're like, I don't like where I'm at, but I also know if I like try to change it, I might fail and I might not get where I'm at. And your brain's not wired to like it was when you were younger, when you were a dreamer. You didn't know that kind of feeling. And I think like once you stop, if you stop allowing your brain to learn and you quit learning new things and quit surrounding yourself, like look as a kid, like how many different social circles did you get involved in? Your circle was huge, like because you had your school and your other surroundings that your parents put you in, whether sports teams or whatever extracurricular activities you did. And then as you get older, you get set in one circle. Like you kind of like your circle starts to dwindle down to a few. And if those people aren't pushing you and encouraging you every single day to be the best person you are, you kind of get complacent. You don't want to continue that growth. There's a reason why less than 3% of the population still reads a book every day, like on a regular basis. If you're not constant, it's like a muscle. If you're not constantly applying your brain and working it out and making it explore, it's no different than sitting on the couch and eating a bag of Cheetos. Like you're gonna get fat. Your brain's gonna get lazy, and you're gonna get complacent. Your amygdala's gonna get bigger. Like your fight or flight. That's all you're going to start to know. And then with social media coming in and you're bombarded with everybody's highlight reels and like, oh my God, like look what they're doing. And you don't really know like the backside of the story, like what's really going on behind the curtains. And like, I see how so many people get stuck so easy and get that negative energy and start to draw to it.
Perception is not always reality.
Yeah.
No. And outdoor television taught me that. Like, you look at this stuff on TV and you have no idea. You don't see the trials and tribulations we went through to have that one successful hunt.
Even
You got
guiding.
guiding everything.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude,
it's,
there's been some episodes where we straight up struggled, and I thought that we were freaking misery. This isn't going to be a freaking episode, and then Chandler freaking cooks it up. And I'm like,
and it's
how did that
amazing.
look
It looks
good?
like it looks amazing.
I'm like, how did that look good? I remember sitting there going like, oh, we're screwed. This sucks.
Right.
And somehow it shapes up. Okay, so let me ask you this. If both of you, what would you give Ronnie Phillips advice now at 28? What would you tell Ronnie at 28? And same thing for you, Nate. But Ronnie can go first. What would you tell 28 Ronnie Phillips?
It's
Because I'm
everything.
28. I'm 28 now. So I want to know.
You're so much further along than I was at 28. You know, I just really spoke to it. But the thing that really resonated with me was being the product of your environment. And, you know, I was living kind of a rock star lifestyle, being a radio personality. Wasn't making a ton of money, but I wasn't broke either. I was kind of living paycheck to paycheck, comfortably living paycheck
Right.
to paycheck. But, you know, I was still kind of in I don't want to say it was somewhat of a toxic environment, but it wasn't, I guess what I'm trying to say is it wasn't an environment of people challenging you to better yourself.
Right.
It wasn't, you're living in the corporate world, so they got you right where they want you. You know, you need to show up and you need to check the boxes to do all of the work that we're, set forth for you. And when you check those boxes, then you can go home. Mm-hmm. Well, there was no really exploring outside of that. And so you got complacent, right? You're in that little, okay, I show up every day and I do this and this is the check I get. So if I would have, to answer your question, if I knew then what I know now, it was that I am capable of so much more.
Yeah.
And what it takes is that first step to recognizing, in order to get the most out of life that I aspire to, is I have to surround myself with the people who are doing it. Mm-hmm. When you can get into that, you don't, and look, those people aren't going to judge you. The people that, from my experience, and I'm sure there's some bad apples out there, but my experience is when you get into that circle of positivity and in creativity and just motivating and inspirational, is those people want nothing more than to lift you up and help you along the way. Mm-hmm. Where at the time, I was looking at, well, those guys are too good for me. They're making more money than me, But then I would be also sitting back and I'm looking at these people who are coming to these concerts and they've got more money than Davy Crockett. I'm like, okay, I know that person pretty well. And that person is way more wealthier than me, but they're really not, they're younger than me and they're not really any smarter than I am. What am I doing wrong?
Right.
They're positioned better. Mm-hmm. Well, what did they do? They took the step to position themselves, to put themselves in the opportunity, because a lot of people, you hear it all the time. It's not what you know, it's who you know, mm-hmm. right? And sometimes you need a shot. Mm-hmm. And the best way to get a shot. So I wish that earlier in life I would have recognized that I'm a product of my environment, and I don't need to just stay in this little clique of people. And it's okay to go outside the circle and get to know other people who are doing bigger things in a more positive environment.
Mm.
But you
Yeah,
still
I
wouldn't
like
be who
that.
you are if you weren't.
I don't have any regrets.
That's what I
Right.
mean.
When those experiences are what mold you, and like to run on top of like what Ronnie is saying, like what I would tell myself, like, and it's like the thing that I've struggled with for the last few years is self-worth. Like you got to surround yourself with the right people, but you also got to love yourself. Like if you're not in love with yourself and you don't believe you can do those things, like you're going to be that timid cat in the corner when you do put yourself in that circle. So you got to be willing to like put past judgment, like, and not worry when you are around people that are like, everybody gets intimidated when you're around somebody successful or a different class above you or in the next ring above. Like it does intimidate you and it does put a little bit of fear, but at the same time, they have their same problems that you deal with every single day. It's just different problems.
I'll take that a step further. Love your haters.
Yeah. This is
Love
one.
your
Their
hater.
biggest
Find-
critics.
That's it. And figure out a way to use that as momentum or motivation to get where you ultimately want to go.
This is my thing. I think that the podcast kind of taught me this a little bit. Is I just don't give a shit anymore, and I equate it to this. And it might be egotistical, but I'm okay with it. I am who I am, but I'm only gonna take opinions with people that are doing more than me. So if you're gonna hate on the podcast, or if I say something on the podcast, or what's he think he's doing on the podcast, or whatever, even video wise or media wise, if you're gonna, all I'm asking is if you can provide what you're doing, that's, if you're doing it, then okay, I'll take it. If Joe Rogan said, "What are you doing on the podcast?" I'd be like, "I don't know. You know what? This is your thing." But when so and so that isn't doing anything wants to talk shit on what I'm doing, it's just, I don't know. What am I supposed to do with that? That's supposed to come with any value?
Mm-hmm.
So
9 times out of 10
that's my
is
thing,
jealousy anyways.
And also, you watched, or you viewed, or you commented. Thanks.
Yep.
That's all I needed you to do.
That's loving your haters.
And
man.
what's it? I saw another thing where it was like, some people love to or hate to watch you, but at least you're watching. So whatever. So I've taken this now with the approach of just, I don't care. What's your opinion on me? Does it change the needle? Does it change what I'm gonna do? Even if someone absolutely hated me, if someone came out and put a comment, Dakota, who the hell are you doing this podcast, and who do you think you are doing this, or blah blah blah. You're a piece of, all your point of views are freaking stupid, or whatever, blah blah. You're such a dork. We hate you. You're ugly. Whatever. What, does that change anything? Does it change it? Like, does it move the needle?
No, it shouldn't.
It shouldn't. What? I don't. What's this supposed to do? So I've literally treated it like this. I don't care. Talk your shit. Talk it. But at least do it on my comments, so I have a comment and I can get some engagement.
Yeah,
Hey,
help my
do
algorithm.
it. Do it then.
Sunglasses.
Sunglasses. Okay, so
You guys got some grief on that one. And
Hey.
I'm guilty of it too.
did
I
you
looked
listen?
at it like, look
Did
at
you
these
listen to
two
the
jokes.
podcast? Did you listen to the podcast?
I actually didn't.
Okay. On the podcast, we wore the sunglasses. Okay. First thing on the podcast, I knew that people were going to talk about the fact that we had. I knew it. I told Q. I said, "Let's wear sunglasses because people will talk about it." I literally said it. I said,
No, I figured it was premeditated.
100%. I said, if
It was the day before.
I
He's
literally,
like,
I
"Dude,
literally,
we should wear our sunglasses.
we should wear
Don't
our
do anything
sunglasses
without intention.
I said this. We should wear our, literally. Kai commented on it. Why do you got the sunglasses on it? My aunt commented on a post. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Then Kai's mom commented on it. Why are you coming on the podcast? Then I put a clip up on my story that we were on the sunglasses. I had 2 people saying, sunglasses on the podcast is a power move. I had like 10 pieces of engagement. And on the podcast, if you listen to it, I go, yeah, folks, we've got sunglasses on. We're doing a little experiment. Me and Q have fucked up the last like 3 or 4 podcasts. Not only our podcast, we goofed up the one for Ronnie. And we need a change of luck. And I literally say this word for word. I go, and also, you know what we're going to do? We're going to cut this up for some reels. I'm going to post it on Instagram and see if anybody knows that we have the sunglasses on the podcast.
They did all fucking 3.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, put another mark on the column where Dakota was right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like,
No, I get it.
I don't care.
Right.
Talk.
Yep.
Talk about it.
But that's where a majority of people go wrong, is because they're scared of the negative feedback.
Go for it. Go for it. Come on. Bring it. Talk all your shit. Just make a comment, please. Don't tell it to your friend. Just type us a comment on how bad we are. We love it. Put us a comment.
I just don't get why people
That's my
use
thing.
that, like, negative feedback and criticism, whether they
I don't
negative,
have-
constructive. Like, why do people get so hung up and so worried? Like, you should take like what people say, look at the validity of it, but also like, I mean, that's where your growth happens. Like, A, you're talking about people paying attention, but 2, like, they may point out something, but why let that bother you?
Well,
Here's
let's
my thing.
hypothetically say they think, oh, those guys must be stoned. Those guys must be baked off their ass. They're wearing sunglasses. Guess what they're doing? They're talking about you.
Yeah.
Even if they're not doing it on your social page, maybe they're talking to their other buddies. Man, did you see Dakota and Q?
Yeah.
So they're gonna watch it.
Yeah.
They're gonna pay attention.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're talking about you.
Hey,
Next time
movement.
I'm gonna go. Hey, we got sunglasses on. Me and Q just did a kilo of cocaine. That's why we have these on. I'm gonna say that on the next one.
There's
Like-
your YouTube title right there. Your
Yeah,
headline.
me
Like,
and
you know how many
Keith-
views you're gonna get?
Yeah, I had to wear sunglasses because
Clickbait
we
to a
snorted a
T.
kilo of cocaine. That's what I'm gonna title it. But my thing is I don't have none of my friends, anybody that I'm close to, on anybody that I feel like would ever leave a negative comment on anybody's shit. None of my friends would. Would you leave a negative comment on, let's say, competition? Your competition.
No.
Would you leave a negative
No.
No one I know would do that.
Mhm.
No one I know would go there that I like and would care about would do that. So why should I? What? That's why I'm coming at. Why do I care? Why do I care? Just do it. That's what I'm saying. When people are so scared to get in front of the camera and do this, what are they gonna do? Say you're uncomfortable? Get up there, cowboy.
Yep.
The only person
Get in
that's
front of that
uncomfortable
camera
is
and do an
you, 'cause
interview.
You feel uncomfortable, and it shows. Like I remember my first time they ever pointed a camera in my face and they wanted me to talk. I'm like, well, get this thing out of my face.
Yeah. Well, me too.
But if you
I still do it.
won't put yourself in that situation, you don't know. You could be the next best speaker, personality, whatever it is. Like, but if you don't apply yourself, you're never gonna figure it out.
Well, I think that a lot of the roadblock for a lot of people is like people are gonna think I look stupid. You know, and it's like, you know what looks stupid? Sitting there and not doing nothing. That
Complaining.
looks stupid.
Complaining and
Complaining
whining.
and not
complaining
having
and
a
whining,
solution.
that's stupid.
Like, you got a problem and you know you're unhappy or whatever it is that you're facing. Like, instead of complaining about it, find a way to fix it. Everything's fixable.
And the first way to fix it is just take the first step to
Step.
remove yourself from that toxic environment. You don't have to know, oh, I want to start a TV show. I want to be a YouTuber, right? You know, whatever. You know, like, you don't have to have all that figured out. You just have to recognize where you're at's not where you want to be, and identify where you want to be or around the people who are doing something, and get in with those people.
And ask questions.
Yep.
You got to ask questions, dude. And some people, I think, like, dude, all you got to do is hit the side button on your iPhone and ask a question, and you can find a lot of answers. I get a lot of text where I said, instead, just ask Google, because you could have just done that. Just
Like, do
if
the
you got a
research.
question, look it up on YouTube.
There's
How
al-
do I get into stockbrokers? How do I become a stockbroker? And just go, like, you gotta just
Oh,
like,
and nowadays,
you gotta
there,
take like
back
a-
then you
all
had
the
to
info.
actually-
There's a college degree out there for anyone on YouTube or on this or on that. I didn't go to college for video editing or any of that.
You got an encyclopedia
mean?
on your phone, a how-to on your phone. Like,
Yep.
it's. I mean, that's the one great thing about technology. It's just like, man, I don't know how to change the oil on this truck. I just bought it. Google
Ding,
it.
ding, 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 ding. Walk through video.
Watch a 3-minute video. Okay, like, I got the basic skills. Like, it's not that hard. It's no different learning anything else. I might screw something up. Yeah, I might cross it or to break something, but that's the risk you're going to take if you're doing it on your own.
On your own, for
like,
sure.
you know, if you want to learn it and you want to, like, be self-sufficient, and that's just part of it. Like, take the risk. Like,
Yeah.
you're going to fail. Like, you didn't learn how to get where you were at without failing at some point along the way in life. Like, you're going to continue to fail all the way until you die. Like, and if you're doing that, that means you're growing. Like, you never want to stop growing. And I think that's, like, when you see people retire and, like, all of a sudden their bodies shut down, they're not active, like, and their health starts to degrade, it's because they're not active. They're not applying their brain power. They're not physically active. They get sedative. Like, so it's, you got to constantly keep pushing yourself. You're never done learning. Like,
Yeah.
always keep applying yourself and you'll stay strong. It's no different than if I take 3 months off of the gym or 3 years off. Like, you're going to start to feel not as good as you did when you were there. And as you older you get, which you'll see after 28, once you hit 30, what starts happening to your body.
Or 40.
Like,
Or 40.
40, yeah. 40's a month away from me. It scares the hell out of me. It's like the one
What are you gonna do for your 40th?
Red Rocks.
Oh yeah, you're doing
I'm going
that.
at the end. I don't know what I'm doing, like, the weekend. Hell, his birthday's the day after mine. We used to be in New York.
What is it? September? Yeah,
Mine's
it's
the
September.
15th.
New York used to
16th? 14th. Okay.
Yours is the 15th.
Yeah.
Opening
Sorry,
day of
I'll
bow
be in a
season.
deer stand on the 15th.
That's what I always wanted to do.
I remember my
somebody might be
first
able to make that
time
happen for
running film for Heartland Waterfowl was on Ronnie's birthday. And he shot a band, and then he yelled at me for saying, "Holy shit, that was badass," on camera.
Yeah, because
He's
you're
like,
running the
"Hey,
slow-mo camera.
it was pretty sweet." You can't say that after though.
And I
No.
passed it along to the birthday boy because it was my turn.
He did. And
Took
it
pictures.
took me 3 shots to
It
kill
did.
that bird.
That used to be one of my favorite. That was the first band
that
picture I
trip
ever
is one of
took
my
of.
fond memories, dudes. I know that both you guys were on it, but I'm just telling you, it's got a very special place in my heart.
Yeah, you took a
Remember when
crawdad to the
you remember when the
nipple.
drone crashed
Yeah.
into the back of the boat?
Yep, I do remember
It
that.
ripped out a Bull Street.
Yep.
I caught that salmon, or that
Yeah.
king salmon, and then you guys posted me on Heartland, and I was like, made it. Got it.
Isn't it crazy how that feeling changes? Like when
Yeah.
you look up to the, you started the business, so like it's hard for you to say it, but like with you guys sitting here, like when you first saw HW as being local, following HB, like they kind of been like in this space where close to as we know them and the interactions you would have with the premieres and stuff. Like once you got your shot, like you're so intimidated, like, oh, what if I do this wrong? What, like you kind of like set back a little bit in who you are yourself. Honestly, I don't think you did at all. Like I had a blast that trip when you came up because that was probably my 3rd or 4th year. I think it was
4th or 5th.
Season
Yeah.
Yeah.
4.
That sounds right.
Season 4. That's when I started. Well, I did the 1 episode on season 4, help with some home stuff, and then I was like on the team season 5.
Because it was one of the most epic moments of HW history was your crawdad moment. We're on that bank of the St. Louis.
The
River.
episode was named after that because he's got a fearless tattoo on
Fearless,
his side. Yeah, and that was the nipple.
That was the nipple.
That was it.
By the
That
way,
video
you can
needs to
find
come
that on the
back out.
Heartland Waterfowl YouTube channel.
Dude, do you know how hard it was to tell my mom? I literally was telling my parents, I'm like, you're never going to believe this. I made it on freaking television. They're like, oh, yeah, what are you doing?
My
Well,
claim to fame is
Not shooting like a goose or nothing. Just putting a crawfish on my nipple.
yep. No, that was an epic trip.
It was an epic trip.
Shoot, I wouldn't even be in HW if it weren't for YouTube.
yes, it is us.
But that was because you put yourself in a position.
Correct.
Yeah,
You
he put
know,
in the
you-
time.
Hey, and even before that, it's that flag right there.
Yeah, he put in the time.
In fact, when you caught that salmon, it says Dakota Thurn, Infinity
yeah.
Outdoors.
Yeah. It's crazy, dude.
Hey,
It's so
ride for
crazy.
the mob.
Ride for the mob.
That was the trip that I got the truck and trailer stuck in the parking lot, too tired to figure out how to turn it around.
Oh yeah.
Almost out of gas.
I think that was also the trip that you ate a cattail.
No, because Evan was with us. It was me,
Oh.
Evan, you, and Ronnie.
That was-
or Logan.
That was
Yeah,
another
I think
year.
it was
that
just
was the
us
day
four.
me and Devanzo pissed everybody off because we were taking those cattails and it was like windy.
Yeah.
We were shredding them and
Oh,
all,
they were getting
all the
everywhere.
white poopy stuff was getting stuck in people's nostrils. And
Remember we had that one field?
oh God, the juice. That was the juice. We
have
waited.
to.
That field had
Ronnie,
like
you
1,500
know
honkers.
what field?
We watched it 3
I'm
nights in a row.
talking
We
Is that
about-
when he lost the keys?
No.
No. That bottom field, the last
The bottom
day we-
field that we scouted all
Oh yeah,
week.
yeah. Where there was like 1,200 birds in there.
one of the biggest early season feeds
Yeah.
we'd ever seen.
Yeah.
We had to wait till the weekend so they could get the
Yep.
rest of their guys out.
Yep. I do
We
remember
needed
that.
to hunt it the next day because by the time we got to hunting it, the
was pretty-
birds were in it, but the wind was bad.
Yeah.
Like, you needed that north wind.
I remember we were sitting in that little brush line.
Mm-hmm.
But now knowing what we do too with the advancing technique, like if we would have had A-frames brushed in on that, we would have smacked her dead.
Oh, dude, let's talk about the horror days of having to have the hood on and filming.
Those days aren't necessarily over.
I know.
I had to do it in Mountain City.
I know.
Few
know.
and far between. That was
They're few and
terrible,
far
man.
between now, though.
Oh boy.
It was every freaking trip.
You can
we were
blame the
having to
hood
get
on me,
underneath
too.
the hood. I hated
Before
that.
it was
you,
no
you
hood.
know I can't sit still.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I'm like this for 2 hours, it's not, dude, I'm going like this.
Imagine being nearly 6'5" in one of those.
It's like you got a straight jacket on. You got this.
It's so,
That's why we pay you guys to film now.
it's so bad.
Remember
But
back in the days when we used to have to alternate?
I like it now, though. I
do,
do.
too.
I like it now. Because
I
I
love
like
it.
I like the fact that it's like organized. Like,
I
and
still-
Chandler hinted at it too. It's like we knew exactly what we needed to get every day. It wasn't like, a new guy or a different guy every day that was hopping in. It's like I don't
Yep.
know.
It's like
It's just different.
It's
It's
no
such a
different,
different
than
thing
in the
now.
construction trades. It's like you got a guy that says like handyman, like like jack of all trades, master of none. So if you got a guy like our team is so dynamic, like for the reasons why everybody's there. And you get somebody that they may be a better hunter. Well, this guy may be better on a camera. Well, it's vice versa the day, and he's on a camera, and he doesn't know what to get. Like, that was my struggle, is, like, B-roll, like, setting up in the morning. I hated it. Like, give me bird. I'll film birds all day long, no problem. Just film setup. Because it was hard for me to detach from it because I hate getting away. Like, my favorite part of waterfowl hunting is the preparation and the plan, like the scenario, the strategy.
Yep.
Like, I played with enough spreads. They was like, "Oh, you always moving decoys." Yeah, like, but I want them to finish just where I want them, and until I can trick them where I want them. So it was when I was my day to film, it was always so tough to give that up. Like, I don't care about killing them. I just want to know I fooled them.
That, and you guys can vouch for this. It was just, it flowed, because I came on in season 8 was my trial year, and last year was my full year, full first year, part of the team, all that. But you guys can vouch for this. It flowed differently. The whole season did. It just flowed differently because we knew what we had to do, and you guys knew what you had to do.
Yep.
And if we had to switch out, gosh damn, that was a good day. Was it not?
For sure. No, I think there was just an element of consistency.
Correct. That too.
You know,
that
like,
too. That, and me and Dakota developed, and he can vouch for this too.
We knew what someone was doing when the other person wasn't. Like,
correct.
We knew I'm doing this stuff.
That,
he's
and
got
then,
this stuff.
And then
We just got a system.
I'll say this right now. I feel like I said it in my Instagram post when Tall was released on TV a couple weeks ago,
That's
last
when we
week,
found the
whatever.
groove.
That is a pivotal moment for Marathon Media, Dakota Thurn, and in me. That is our transition to where we finally figured out what we were doing.
Yeah.
What we needed to do. We had to be creative. We had to make new shots. And
But
we
also
had to figure it the fuck out,
Had to have
basically.
the stuff for both, too.
Right.
I think the pieces were coming together on each trip as we kept doing it, but I feel like the puzzle was put together at Tornado Alley.
That's what I'm saying. It is a pivotal moment to where you can see. My grandma said it. She said, "Oh, this is different," and I said, "Thank you for saying that, because you made my point exactly to what I will take to my grave."
Dude, it's not an easy thing to get down.
No,
It's not an
but
easy
that
thing
is
to, like,
just
figure out. Like,
what you preach on me about, and you have since I was 16. We have to be different. Have to make things different every time.
Ronnie's gonna eat your.
my turn to pee.
Ronnie's gonna eat your ass with that. He says, "It's not about being different. It's about being unique."
Unique. Correct. But
Anybody
that is
can be
where-
different.
That is the transitional, I think, in season 9, to where I think we had it. That was
Yeah,
was
me
the big
too.
move. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too. I think so too.
And then from then on, it was just like, all right, we got
watching
this.
you guys grow with it from like early Nodak trip to watching you guys when you came back to like when we did the home Valley Oaks episode, like how like once you got your rhythm down, and granted, yeah, you were at home, but even
Even in the home
production-
stretch, I didn't take no day off or slack none.
No,
I fucking
we
kept-
hunted what?
I kept
6 days in a row.
I kept that energy till the last drop.
Mm-hmm.
But it's privy to me. I've got a heart tie to the Valley Oaks shit. You know what I mean? I wanted to showcase it as best I fucking could, man.
Yep.
you guys
really
have been
did.
there, like I said, going
said
back to the
Nate-
day ones, man. Like I
Right.
remember when I
That's
talked
what I
to
was
you
getting
about
at.
it, like,
That's what I was getting ready to say.
you weren't even HW then. Like you were just at the beginning stages of HW. Like you were still 100% Infinity. Still blowing.
When we
shit.
was going to captains,
yeah, we had some good nights at Cap.
yeah, I was showing up late to my explosive job because Nate keep me out drinking freaking captains. Freaking
Hey, it's your decision.
and we're
It
still
was my
doing
decision.
it. I mean, that's been what
long
6
time,
years,
dude.
7 years.
Long time. I remember that so crazy whenever me and you met at Rick's basement, and I was so nervous that there was a Heartland guy there. It's so
And
crazy.
you were nervous,
It's
and
so,
I walked right in.
it's
on
so
some-
crazy that I got nervous about Nate.
now you're like, oh, it's just fucking Nate. No, I remember.
I
that.
was like, ah, shit.
Vividly
Neymar.
remember walking down there into the serial killer room. It's got like that
Yeah.
plastic, up to
Plastic
keep the
around,
dust
yeah.
out. And he had just turned some. God, I think it was some salted maple that I had sent him over. I wanted some me and Logan, I bought to have some calls turned out of, and he had gotten them done, and we went down there, and you were down there.
I had
taking
my
some
little
pictures.
Nikon
Yeah.
D3300
It was like the Thursday. It was a Thursday night, and
and
Friday
a little Rode mic,
was the opener at Cheyenne for.
and I had my white balance completely off, which it was a hard place to figure out a white balance in that little thing, in that little room.
And then I dropped that
Yeah.
call and shattered it.
Yeah, he drops a call. Literally, Ricky got done with the call. Perfect call. Hands it to Nate. Nate's like messing with it. Ding, shatters.
Not Nate.
Yeah, that was my introduction to Nate.
Certified
Yep, that's
product
how we
tester.
met.
You want to see if it can break? Send it to me. I'll
That's
find
it.
a way to break it and tell you how it broke.
That'll get it stuck. Dude,
Coming from the guy that left your
I
truck
know,
in the
I
food
know,
plot
I know.
for how many weeks?
I do have a funny story about Nate, though.
Which one?
I know, I got tons. I'm riding in the bucket of the Bobcat, and he's going and driving. And there's like this ditch that's real wet. That's going like this. And I'm like, I don't think he's paying attention. Like, we're going right towards this ditch. Like, he's going to get stuck. And I'm thinking in my head, we're going to get stuck. And he just keeps on going. And then the Bobcat just goes like this.
Oh no. Oh no.
And I'm like, dude, if we were 4 feet that way, we'd be fine. How did we get into this predicament? Like, dude,
I can tell you how.
100 acres of dry field. And we're in this little freaking wet
And of
spot.
course Nate found the spot.
Yes. I'm like, well,
He always does.
Yes. You having some
What
technical
about-
difficulties there, Nate? Got it figured out. There we
Yeah.
go.
What about last year's? We were prepping food plots, and he took Grant's side by side back, and all of a sudden Hilly's calling us. Hey, Nate's trying to call me.
emergency contact.
Emergency
Is
contact,
Nate all right? And
please.
I'm like, I don't
Is
know. He
Nate
just
all
left
right?
on a side by side.
Yeah, we
Oh,
thought he had
no.
crashed.
So then I'm taking the four-wheeler, hauling ass up there trying to find Nate. And then Nate walks up and he's got freaking like a big gulp and freaking 3 Slim Jims and a freaking he got a big gulp, 3 Slim Jims and a Nerd's rope just walking around. He's like, hey, what's going on? I'm like,
somehow, like, Hilly
we've been
got on my
panicking. We thought you were
emergency
dead.
contact on my iPhone,
Yeah.
and it was in my pocket, and I had no idea. I was pocket dial, like sending out like,
That would only happen to Nate.
well,
yeah.
you know, like
Only
yeah, pretty
Nate.
much, like, I'm used to it.
We were 100% convinced that they had crashed the side by side.
I would think the same
And I
thing.
drove up to Perry's Market, got drinks for everybody. I thought I was doing like a
Yeah,
nice thing.
yeah.
Now everybody's like got a search party out. But
I want to know why.
and I'm like 5 miles away. I was just ripping it, taking it on a Sunday.
I want to know why Hilly is your emergency contact.
Yeah.
I don't
No
know how it got
shit.
even put on there. Like it's just one of those things. Like,
So random.
Oh, she's done.
oh, what we got?
Done.
Better show him.
Ooh, boy.
Dang, boy.
Look at
I want some
that.
flannel ones.
Look at that.
That's what you call fashion,
Flannel?
boy.
You couldn't glue it. Why? Because it's too much stretch.
That right there is fashion, boy.
What about like not like a straight like pure flannel, but like a flannel print, like on more of like a canvas.
She can
Hey,
do
she can do it
anything.
all.
She can do it all.
She can do it all.
Can't fail. You
Well, take
can't
these,
succeed
you can
without
do it
failing, right?
Right? You got to try.
You can't do it. You say, yeah, I can try it.
Let's
I
look
am
good,
pretty proud of
Kai.
this. I'm excited about that.
Not my style, but they're right up that
about
guy's
that?
alley.
Hey, plug her up again.
Yeah, barhkco.com. Link it up. I'm about to have more drip than a faucet with them shoes.
Are those yours?
Yeah.
Is that really the Louis Vuitton pattern?
Are those mine?
Hey, he wants a cornhole set that is Louis Vuitton.
What is wrong with you?
It's just kind of dope.
I got a guy who make them.
Dude, I
Is
was
his name
talking-
Nate?
Did you see
No.
Did you see at the premiere that Skylar had a chain on?
Yes, I
Yes.
did.
Yeah.
I gave him.
He
I
came
gave
up to me and
him
he
grief
said-
about it.
I kind of like this. I know.
You were his inspiration.
And I go, I know it's fun, ain't it?
Hey,
And I
it's
told
real
him,
good.
I'm like, dude, live your own life, have your own fun, wear a gold chain every once in a while, dude. It's a little bit fun.
That's way too
And
funny.
he been wearing it too. I saw him in
Yeah.
a different picture.
Really?
Did not premiere, and he was
Yeah.
wearing it.
Yeah, they went up to like Morgan Wallen up in Boston.
Yeah, and he was wearing the gold chain. I
Yeah.
Oh
love it.
my gosh.
I love it. Dude,
I love
he's
it,
a
too.
crack up.
Hey,
Skylar's a crack up.
Skylar, you keep being you.
Okay, hold on.
Right?
I got a question. I've asked this many times on the road, but we got to do it on the podcast right here, right now.
Okay.
If if we got in a Royal Rumble,
Oh, here we go. Get your popcorn ready.
if we got in a Royal Rumble, our squad versus their squad
We're
in
talking about Heartland
in
Bowhunter,
a
by the way.
fist fight with Heartland Bowhunter, who wins?
HW all day.
There's only, honestly, is if I think about all the guys on the HB team, there's only one guy I don't want to scrap with.
Hunsucker.
100%.
Unsucker.
He scraps, I know.
No,
I mean,
he's the dude that is the teddy bear. But if that wire gets crossed, he's gonna fuck some people.
Okay,
up.
so noted. We have to understand how to neutralize the Hunsucker.
So
Okay?
basically, we all take him out first.
No, here's my
Just
plan.
headbutt it right out the gate.
No,
I've
here's
seen
my
you do
plan.
it.
Here's my plan.
Somebody distract him while I headbutt the shit out of him.
No,
and
hold
then
on.
he's
I got
done.
it. I got it. I'm not beating up nobody. Okay?
Well, we can't really count on Dakota for nothing.
Okay. Hold on.
Okay.
But I can play a part.
Okay.
I've thought about this so deeply.
Good grief, you have.
I'm throwing the first punch.
You
Okay.
have to. That's like the like.
Oh,
that's
yeah. he's
one
right.
rule of fight
At
club,
Hunsucker.
Like, don't run the jaw.
Okay.
Stick it.
I'm running up to Hunsucker and clocking him. Okay? With everything that I have to start the fight. Because that's going to be. I got one shot.
What's your next target? What you doing after
He's
your
done. No, because
Next
he's
target-
toast after this.
Next target's like this.
Yeah.
What? No, that's no. You
Okay,
go.
okay. After I hit Hunsucker, hopefully you guys jump in and take care of that, and then I'm gonna go find Chandler. Hey, and listen, not that Chandler is not a bad match, but who else am I matching up with?
Hey, I'm sorry, but either Ronnie or Everett's got old Rex.
Somebody gotta.
I didn't even think
somebody
about
gotta
Rex.
eliminate Nate Flynn because he got some reach.
Hey, Logan's got that.
Somebody gotta
Logan's
toss.
got that
Somebody
one.
gotta throw some hands to Nate Flynn because he got some reach.
I just
Hey.
don't see anybody on that HB team, aside from Mike, having it in them to scrap.
I know, but Sean's fit, dude.
He's strong. As
He's
an ox.
strong and he's fit.
He's
and
sneaky.
dude,
That
hey,
Sean
punch,
would be
punch,
sneaky.
punch that bag
But
for
I don't see him
30
as a
seconds
fighter.
straight.
Hey, we'll give
I
him.
don't see him as a
I think
fighter.
if you cornered him though, he's
no.
got enough of it.
We're not talking about like, oh yeah, if we're talking shit in this. No, we have to fight to see what the result is. All of us have to. That's the agreement.
And that, when you put it that way,
When we put it that way,
yeah,
you
it's a little
gotta
different.
fight.
Yeah.
Hey.
We have to fight.
Also, HW, we got some gritty boys on the team.
Champlin's pretty
got
gritty,
Champ.
dude. You could throw gravel
Oh.
on
We
Champlin's
got
mouth and he'd
Everett.
swallow it.
I'm not
Hey,
putting a lot of
and
stock
we
in
got-
Everett.
We got Joe. Pl-
I'm not putting a lot of fighting stock in Everett.
You think Joe can scrap?
100%.
Oh,
He
yeah.
can wrestle too.
Joe can?
Oh yes.
Okay. I know
Yes.
Nate can scrap.
I've never scrapped my life.
Yeah.
Liar.
You lie.
you lie.
And
I think we have a good chance.
And here's my thing. I'm not strong. I just have never been scared of fighting. I've lost just as many fights as I've won.
It's no different than talking about life. Like if you're scared, you're gonna lose.
That's
Right.
it. That's
Like,
it.
If you live life scared,
That's why
you're
I'm
not
doing the
gonna
first
succeed.
punch, dude.
If you,
Yeah, like throw it out there. What's the worst thing you're gonna do? Get your ass beat?
Hey.
Well, that's gonna
No,
happen.
no, no.
regardless.
I know that's already going to happen.
No.
So I'm just saying,
But that's
let
the
me be the
mindset.
igniter.
And by the way, this is all hypothetical. None of us have any desire to
No
get in a
beef.
fight. With
No
They're our
beef.
brothers. We love them. There's
Nope.
no beef
Let's
whatsoever.
Let's schedule it and do a
Oh my
pay-per-view and
gosh.
see how
those
much
of you
money we can
listening or
raise.
watching,
Does Whiskey Tango? I guess it's not called Whiskey Tango anymore. Mo Country. Do
Mo
they still
Country?
have the cage fights there?
On
Nah.
Saturday night.
Can you
headlining.
imagine HB versus HW?
I bet we'd get some views on YouTube.
Oh,
I
we would.
guarantee it drives some traffic.
Hey,
Think outside the box, right?
come on, think outside the box. Let's do this thing.
Just don't be bringing in any petroleum jelly or anything into this thing because I think it's weird then.
Nate just definitely made it weird
Yeah,
like he does.
yeah, yeah.
Dude, you just pulled a Matt.
Usually Matt would be the
You
guy
just
to
go-
make
hey,
it
Matt
weird.
pulled a Matt.
Oh, Matt is another
Matt
one.
can
You do
handle
not.
his own.
That guy is strong as an ox too,
That's
man.
what I'm saying. He can handle. We got a little squad.
I think
We got a
think
little
so.
squad.
I think so too.
I
That's
think
all I'm
it's just a
saying.
grid
So
of water
HB, watch
powders.
out, dude. Watch out. Do not cross us, HB.
Hey,
Well,
don't
and
forget.
Q's a scrapper too.
He's wrestler.
Yeah.
He's a wrestler. You got to take somebody.
Well, so I'm trying to think who else on HB. You got
Hey, I got Trent Siegel.
Trent Siegel's stacked too. He got some muscle to him.
yeah, I can
But
see
I
him
can tell
be
you
a
about
scrapper.
muscle. Like I've seen like the muscle guys when like in a combat zone.
Oh yeah, I've seen plenty of meatheads get their ass.
Yeah, when it
whooped.
comes to it, like they've used that for so long as like their front, like as their way of getting out of it.
You want to
and when
know?
you confront it?
You want to know what my weakness was when wrestling? It wasn't the big guys.
Touching dicks.
Hey,
Sorry, dude.
sorry, tennis player.
Hey,
Easy.
we touched.
Oh,
Easy
he
over there.
just served you.
That was good. All right, I'll take
Easy
it.
You
whenever
just got
I-
aced.
I got it.
Easy
Yeah.
over there. Before you comment on my sport.
All right, we wore shorts. You guys wore.
Hey,
singlets,
it's like
anyway.
they say. It's not the
Anyways.
size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog.
Correct.
Right.
Anyways, my point being, forgot what I said because you threw me off.
I know. Sorry, dude.
Did
It was a
you
good
hit
one.
me?
It was a good one, dude.
You
It was
hit me.
well
Same
timed.
game.
It was a layup, dude.
Yeah,
Had
no.
to.
No, shut up.
So you're talking
Anyways.
about wrestling.
Okay.
No, but
it wasn't, it
his
wasn't
weakness.
the beefed up dudes. It was the skinny, long, lanky guys.
The guys who had leverage.
They had more leverage on me. Dude, I'm short and stocky. What do you think I was good at?
Right.
You know what I mean? I was strong, but I wasn't fucking... Dude, if a tall, lanky guy, which... you know enough with MMA.
Oh yeah, dude.
Figure
I know.
four?
Hey, I know enough.
You know a figure four?
No.
Okay.
No,
well,
I don't.
There's leg riding in wrestling, and if they got a figure four on me, it's hard to fucking get out of with a long and lanky guy. Muscle
gotcha.
guy, I can muscle the shit out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But long and lanky was it. That's what I'm getting at though. Is looks.
Yeah, but all these
aren't
fight,
deceiving.
this fight would definitely have to start standing up. So we're
Here-
definitely gonna
here's-
have to throw some punches.
I'm not gonna start on my knees. Like,
Well, I'm just
Right,
saying,
no.
like whenever it comes to the ground, Q got mad advantage, but we're gonna have to throw some.
Hey, I can throw. Don't worry.
Ooh.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I can throw. Don't worry about
In
that.
this fight, though, I think it's not going to be how good somebody can. It's going because
All of
obviously
us
it's
are gonna
going to
get.
start.
All of
standing
us
up.
are gonna get tired.
Well, that's one.
Well,
Two,
all you guys are.
Two, and what I've learned in my days when I was younger and dumber and not afraid to scrap was it wasn't how good you can fight or how good you can punch. It was how good you could take a punch and keep going.
Yeah.
You got to be able to take a punch.
Got to be the tough guy.
I took a lot of hits. I mean,
Yeah.
you see the size of this nose? It's been broken a couple times.
Surface area. Yeah. Well.
Well, how
maybe-
do you transition from that topic?
Yeah, maybe it'll happen. All right, Mike, hit us up if you want to collab.
Yep.
No, but dude, how many times have we talked about that? I've been,
You're the one who's always talking
Yeah,
about it.
you're
That
always
was all you.
I
it's
live
like
in
you
a
got a
fan-
bone to pick
I
on.
You
know,
really
no,
do.
No, I live in a fantasy world, dude. Whatever.
Hey, his brain goes like 8
Yeah.
different directions.
Oh,
so.
dude, it's like scrambled eggs.
Mhm.
It's nuts.
Let me ask this though. I'm gonna get on a different topic.
Gotcha.
Let's hear
Segue.
what your perspectives or what you would like to see. What season 10 is gonna be like.
Hold on.
Wait a second.
Before you say that, reflect on the fact that you are going into season 10.
That too.
Reflect on that first.
I've
From
done a lot.
conception to a decade.
I know. So much has changed in the last 10 years. I mean, this is the third podcast I've done today, and we talked about a little bit of that on the first one with some podcast up in Canada. And it's just crazy from where we started, to not really, we were all trying to figure out our personalities, and, there was a lot of clashing of personalities and trying to figure out how to, we knew how to hunt birds, but we weren't sure how to hunt birds with all these different personalities, and everybody wanting to set decoys differently and how to hide the cameras.
And make a TV show. Because hunting birds and making
Yeah.
a TV show is completely different.
It is. So now we've figured all of that out. Now we've got this brotherhood where we all kind of know how each other click, and we can, it's kind of like Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce. Like, he knows what that guy's going to do before he even does it, right?
I'll take
And that's
Travis
kind
Kelce
of
any day.
that's kind
I'll be Travis Kelce any day.
that's kind of how that feels with Heartland Waterfowl now.
I think we all know our role now.
That's it. That's 100% it. That's basically what I'm
Right.
trying to
Like,
say.
that was like I struggled with that for a long time with
Mike.
HW.
Get that mic up to your mouth.
He's got gangsterling going
Well,
on.
no, it works for everybody else. But
Anyway, the roles.
But like at the beginning when I started, I remember my very first trip to North Dakota when I was just an accessory. Nothing, no filming obligations. Didn't even know what f-stop was on a camera, and I was just invited up to go hunt. And I remember like looking back and watching you guys, and I'm like, how does this dysfunction?
It was a dysfunctional family.
Dysfunctional family.
We are a
put
family,
down,
though.
like what I just
100%.
watched from last season, and then like watching, like getting involved, watching you guys. That's one way we talked about it on your podcast. Like that was when you guys were doing the helmet intro, and like watching that side of it, and then seeing like a year later watching the hunt that I was on, and then watching it on TV. How totally two different, like the feel of it, and how just the editing and everything, polishing it up from like what you experience to what you see. And you get like, as a viewer, you don't see that side of it. So seeing it firsthand and knowing the work and was all of like forming that appreciation. But then as we kept growing and like personalities are growing, people are getting comfortable doing it, but you still didn't quite know your role. Are you hunting today or are you filming today? Like you didn't know what hat you were wearing. And I love it because I learned a different side of something that challenged me, like picking up a camera and learning how to run it and being able to put like seeing my footage get used on TV. Like, wow, man, that actually looks good. Like, looked really dumb when I filmed it. It was always those dumb ideas you didn't think would work that turned into something. And it kind of circles back to the failure thing. But watching us grow to where we're now, like season 10, and seeing how well polished the machine is, and everybody kind of fitting into their spot, like the stress levels have gone down, the tensions have gone down. Like it's more of, it's still a lot of work. Like it's a grind all day long. It never stops. Like it's not like you go to the hunt and then there's no other obligations after that. Like it's a lot of work to produce that. What goes into what actual people see, and seeing that growth, and like having these guys come on and take on the obligation of the hunting side or the filming side of it, and watching the difference between last season and the season before. Like it's night and day. It's almost like watching season 1 to season 2. How much better, like the flow, everything clicks. And
yeah, I don't. As I reflect back on the last 10 years, I think back to like season 1, and I cringe going back and watching season 1 now, just because you know what you know, and you watch it now and you're like, golly, how in the world did we ever get that on TV? But I can honestly say that I don't feel like that we ever took a step backwards.
Right.
There was always, now it might have been one year was gigantic step, the next year was just a minute step, but there was always been progression from one year to the next. So to answer your question on what we look forward to in season 10, I'm really, really excited about taking what we learned in that first year, because when I say the first year of doing the YouTube original series, because it was a great idea that I felt like it was very aggressive because nobody in the industry was doing it, and maybe even today are still not doing, except for us. But we still didn't really know how to do it.
Can I come clean on that?
Yeah.
I didn't know if I could do it.
I mean,
When
it
I
was
signed up.
aggressive. Yeah, I know you
When I
had the
signed
deer
up,
in the headlight look when
I
we
didn't
brought it to
know
you.
if I could do it. Honestly.
Yeah.
It was a game. It wasn't like, oh, I've done this before. Yeah, I definitely think that we can do that. It was like,
all the
let's try it.
sponsors I talked to about it, and what for those who are listening, the idea is that we were going to go out and film that hunt that we filmed that morning. We were going to turn around as a polished product episode to release within the phrase I use is 12 hours, is to turn it around and have it released that night or early the next morning. That's a lot. And I remember I think it was Stevie from Mojo who I could hear that's pretty aggressive. Like some of the sponsors were like, hey, they were our biggest cheerleaders. Yeah, that sounds great. Go for it. But they're like, damn, do they know what they're up against? To which I was
We
like, oh
didn't know.
shit, maybe
We
I don't know.
didn't know.
Maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe this is not obtainable. We did it.
we did it, dude.
We did it.
I hang my hat on
and
that.
executed it. You guys fucking
Hey,
knocked it out of the
and
park.
also, it never. The one thing that I take very, 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 very much pride in, it never wavered. We always executed on every 31 fucking episodes.
Yeah.
31.
33, wasn't it?
No, 31.
Oh, I thought it was 33.
But we always. There was no excuse. We always we executed it and executed. For me, it was such a learning. For me, it was huge. I will say that. It was huge for me because it gave me the confidence to go, okay, you put your mind to something that you didn't think that you could do and you did it, you know? And
Not only
I can't tell you what that does for me just in life. You did something that you didn't think that you could do.
Right.
Like that in itself is huge.
Not
Now,
only
granted,
that, you
are
gotta
we talking about a YouTube channel and a YouTube series? Yes. Did I create a multi-million-dollar business? No, we're not talking about that. But
Not yet.
Not yet. But what I'm talking about is we set a goal and we executed it. What more can you want from that? Like we as a team should just put our hat on that, man.
But also, as
we executed exactly what we promised. What we promised, we delivered. I love that. I love that.
You got to look at this, and this is, to me, it's like the little things. But it's also something that we should feel as confident as a team. But also, it's a personal goal for you, too. It took you how long on the first trip to do an episode? To an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours on our last home hunts?
Just had to figure it out, dude. Figure it out throughout time, you know?
It's
I've always said that you just have to continue to gain information, and then once you gain information, you digest it, and you go, okay, there's an easier way of doing this. But the only way that you gain information is through motion. Correct. You have to continue to do things, and then you go. Learning. Same thing with the podcast. You go, oh, shit, okay. Hey, it goes really smooth when I ask these questions.
Right.
Hey, it goes really smooth whenever I just let someone that is passionate about talking about what they're talking about, I just let them go. And let them, like, you just learn things. You learn things through motion. It's the same thing we've been talking about this entire freaking podcast.
Yep.
You just have to keep marathon, dog. Why do I got to keep saying this? It's a marathon. You have to continue to just keep doing stuff, and more things get revealed to you, more opportunities get revealed to you. You understand things better. You get better at things. That's what I've always attributed to any success that I feel like that anybody can have. You just keep doing it.
Constant
just
drip,
keep
wears away the
doing
stone.
whatever the hell you're doing.
Yep.
If you just keep doing it, you're eventually going to get good at it. You're eventually going to build resources. You're eventually going to stumble upon opportunities that are going to be profitable and or lead you to new different things. You have to keep doing whatever you're doing. Whenever you go and just give up on something, dude, I've been doing this shit from this.
Yeah.
You got to keep doing this shit.
Right.
Look at season 10
I know.
of Heartland Waterfowl. Kept doing the shit.
Here's my thing about that, though, is that I'm to the point now where it's not a complacent. It's going to sound like it's a complacent thought. Like, I am 100% confident in what our abilities are to create a badass television episode.
Oh, without a doubt.
So, like, that's not to say, again, that we aren't challenging ourselves.
That's a hard thing to do.
It's a hard thing to do, especially for 10 years.
Absolutely.
To keep because listen, there's no TV show without sponsors, and you don't. There's only so many sponsors you can get, so you're going to have those sponsors that like what you're doing. They see the progression, they see the production. But when I say production, like how influential you are as a brand, that they want to keep spending money with you. And if they're not spending money with you, then you're not traveling the country doing it, right?
Right.
So you have to have sponsor retention, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from that standpoint, I have no doubts that we're going to keep knocking this out of the park as long as we're physically and mentally capable of doing it. The thing that I get more excited about, and we talk about this off the air, if you will, is figuring out this digital space and figuring out what makes it work. And that's now where I've kind of put a lot of my focus is, what's this YouTube game?
Yeah.
How are these other shows, other concepts that, and I'm not going to name any of them, but they're just, from a production standpoint, complete dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing so well. From a content standpoint, I know we're crushing it.
Mm-hmm.
But what is it that they're doing that's getting the engagements? What is it that they're doing with their keywords or with the content that they're putting in the description that's putting them in a better spot with the algorithm, that's getting them more views or being more influential with these, getting into the top spots of being rated? It's the inner working dynamic of that business that I'm like really starving to understand.
Right. It's not necessarily just doing the content, but doing the content right.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Well, it's doing the content right, but it's also how are you playing in the actual YouTube sandbox? Like, what is it? How are you manipulating the system to get out of it that you're wanting to get?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's more than just the content.
But I think we don't have, we can't compare ourselves to other people either. We have to be our own thing with Heartland Waterfowl on the YouTube deal. We have to just be ourselves. Just do what we do.
Authenticity sells, baby.
Authenticity sells way more than
100%.
anything.
But I think that's an area where we can do better.
Correct.
For sure.
I think that we can be more raw, more authentic, pull the curtain back is the example that we like to use, get below the surface, as I like to say, to show what is life like on the road with Heartland Waterfowl. What is it that we're not seeing, those people who are watching are not only feeling like they're there with us during the hunt, but they're there with us in the lodge. They're there for all of the experiences, to feel that authentic emotion that we feel when we're on the road.
Think about it like with...
That's where I want to challenge ourselves this season.
Think about it like with The Last Dance. You know what I'm talking about? The Michael Jordan documentary?
Yeah.
We knew all these things happened.
Mm-hmm.
We did not know the inner workings. And that documentary went like this, painted that picture of all the inner workings of this is how all this happened.
Right.
I see like maybe season 10 being of kind of like that, of maybe of like, this is how we are. This is not only how we are here now at season 10. This is how we are here today.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we are here in this situation. Like, more of like The Last Dance. Of it's we saw all these different events. The flu game and this, and whenever he's winning the championships and this, but we didn't know the stories about whenever Rodman went to Vegas and then they had to send him there, and then he came back, and then after that he came back and was like what you said, peel the curtain back.
Mm-hmm.
Let's show the people who we are.
That's where I really like. We know we're good.
Not just
at
these TV
We
hosts.
know we're good at the hunting stuff,
Right.
Humbly speaking, but where could we get better? And I think in order to be good at the YouTube game, you got to play the YouTube game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you can say all you want about, and I don't think this is what you're ultimately saying is comparing yourself to others, but you are working within the confines of a platform that, one, you're already at a disadvantage because they're Silicon Valley, liberal, anti-gun, anti-ammo, anti-harvesting of animals. I'm not going to use the K word,
We're
and so
up against the wall.
we're already up against the wall.
I get
So
that, but I was meaning be different, but
Unique.
in our own way.
No, just
Unique.
it's not even different or unique. It's just us. Just be us.
What our unique
Correct.
factor is the quality of the content that we strive to put out for our viewers. I mean, they're not to be cocky or anything, but this our footage is some of the best footage that people have seen. Like as far as birds working,
Waterfowl
and
content.
Waterfowl content
Yeah.
side of it, yeah, for sure. And the way our story is told. I mean, that's why we've been able to go 10 years is being relatable. Now it's like people want to know who we are.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I
we
just
wanna
think that we
know
should
what
double
it
down
is.
on what we've always done.
Mm-hmm.
We just keep double down on it. Keep
I-
showing people, hey, here's the struggle that we had today. This is what we're dealing with, and we do a good job with that with the TV show. I know we have this struggle segments and stuff like that, but I think that the big thing is instead of people knowing Heartland Waterfowl, I think that the next step is know us as Heartland Waterfowl. I'm excited for it. I'm so excited for
no,
it.
without giving away too much,
Yeah.
I really feel like, because you and I have talked about it again in private, is I want the YouTube series in I call it the season 2,
Of
the original YouTube series, to push the envelope even further.
Me
I
too.
want to there's only so much you can do on the TV side because you got to play within the confines of the network and what their expectations of you are, and so many, with YouTube, we have a lot more flexibility to do a lot more stuff.
Mhm.
And I think that we shouldn't rest on the fact we're the best. We're the best at filming our footage, filming the birds and the hunts, we can do more.
I think so too.
And I think that what you saw in season 1 of the original YouTube series is going to look a lot different than what
For
you
sure.
see in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
So tune in.
Yep.
Please
So tune in. Hit that subscribe button.
Come on.
Listen, if you're already subscribed, unsubscribe and subscribe back. Try that. And then you might find out, oh shit, I thought I was subscribed and I wasn't.
And then
Then
hit
you can
that
subscribe.
notifications button, and it'll let you know whenever we
As soon
post
as we
something.
post. And then you'll be up to date on anything that we're doing. Heartland Waterfowl, YouTube channel. Come on. Come on,
on.
folks. You got to get in on it. It's going to be a fun year, man. I'm excited for it.
I'm so pumped.
So excited.
And it's hard to believe it's less than a month away.
It is,
No
dude.
kidding.
It creeps and creeps, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, we gotta leave tomorrow. You know what I mean? It could be like that.
Like I don't like once 4th of July, like you lose the excitement. Like 4th of July is a fun holiday for me. I've always enjoyed it. And like after 4th of July, it's always just like a downer because school was getting ready to start. Like when I was at that age, and then it's just like you're waiting for September 1. Like you're so waiting for September 1 because that's the fun all starts. Like obviously, I love September. It's my birthday month. Like
Right, me too.
Everything kicks off and you start to get into the like back into your routine. And like for me, like hunting has always been such a stress relief and a confidence builder because it's something I am, not to sound cocky, but good at and spent a lot of years doing it. So it's when I go through my summer months, yeah, like you said, like I love to fish, love to do those things, but without like I want to be back in the woods. Like I want
Dude,
to be back in
it's
the
a beautiful
field,
thing when you get to do things that you enjoy.
Well, then the
You know what I
people you
mean?
meet, like the guiding side, like I wouldn't be, Valley Oaks wouldn't be existence. We're talking about 10 years in HW, and I think one thing we miss out if we look at the guys that have been involved with HW, just look at the growth professionally outside of the hunting. I mean, we don't do HW for money or the fame or we all have other jobs and other things that we do, and like look at the growth, like the confidence. I think that HW is still from the model of how successful we were with that in our personal lives, and not only that, but the doors that opened up. Like you said, going back to talking about the product of like surrounding yourself in a circle. And me and you have talked, Ronnie, we've talked a bunch about this. Is like when I joined the team, like I had no clue what I was doing in life. Like I had no direction. I knew I loved to hunt, and I didn't know like how to make it a career. Like I thought like creating content would be the way to go, and then found out like I don't really enjoy that side of it. And to me, I like the plan. I like the strategy. I like being prepared for it. And I'm not very prepared in life. Like, but the one thing it is when it comes to hunting, like I'm ready to go that morning. Other areas, I fly by the seat of my pants, but
you've gotten better. with
I've
that.
gotten a lot better, and that has also trained me to like show that the more prepared I am for that morning's hunt, the better my results are. So it applies to other areas in life. The more prepared I am for certain situations, the better off I'm going to be. Like just having that plan. It talks about the same thing we've talked about. Just try to figure out a way to step outside that circle. And that's one thing that HW taught me, and being surrounded by you guys is like, we all take little bits and pieces of each one of us, and it's a part of our life now. Like we all do things differently, but we collaborate on a lot of things and take a lot from each other that if we didn't all meet and our paths all didn't cross, like where would we be?
Right.
Like, would you still be doing radio, Ronnie? Would you still be driving explosives around?
Right. And me and Ronnie talked about this when we were in Mountain City, not this last year, but the year before. Whenever we did like that mock little, remember?
Yeah,
hey,
I
we've been
remember.
brewing this, dog. We've been brewing this. You know what I mean? I think that was the night where we went like this. Holy shit, we could probably talk and have good
Yeah, it
conversations.
was kind of like when we were trying to fill a mock 30 for 30.
Yeah,
30
yeah.
for 30.
But it was just fun.
Yeah.
We had fun. You know what I mean? But
We've never done anything with it.
We've
but
never done
we just
anything
filmed
with
it.
But with that, whenever we were talking about that, look at all the opportunity. Look at all the opportunity that has been influxed. And, dude, outside of HW, talk about HB. Look at all the guys that are freaking Midwest Land Group guys. Look at all the guys, like Matt selling outdoor real estate. Look, me, I have an outdoor media production company. Like, Nate has a guide company. Joe has a guide. Like, look at all the businesses that have been built off of the fact of the relationships that we've had with all these different freaking people.
Because you took a chance to get outside of your comfort zone.
Look at
That's it.
what I'm just saying.
I work 3 jobs. I
Yeah.
have 3 jobs. I work for Timberline, I work for Thurn Painting Construction, and I work for Marathon Media.
Would I have started a podcast had I not known Dakota Thurn? Would that have led to me starting PapaRonRadio.com? Would that have led to me voice tracking a radio station in Carrollton? Think about that.
The inspiration runs deeper than
If I wouldn't have met you guys, I probably wouldn't have been running the media for Valley Oaks
right.
or V-Lane and Holding
Yep.
or all the other Tom, Dick, and Harrys that I've ran media producing the TriStar commercial.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
We're all
That's what I'm
feeding off,
talking about.
off each other's energy.
It's a beautiful
You take care of
fucking
your
thing that we're
brothers,
a part
man. You
of.
take care of everybody in
It
your
is
circle.
so
Like,
beautiful.
You see a
It's
guy
so
with
beautiful.
drive and see a guy that's got the spirit and like wants to better themselves. Like you're always going to be on the lookout. Like you're more receptive. Like in a normal conversation with somebody, you may have totally missed it, but he's like, oh yeah, I'm looking for this or doing this and blah blah. I'm like, bam, wait a second. Like I know a guy that you need to talk to.
I'm
Like,
doing Nate's Granite Media.
Mm-hmm.
That's what. It's beautiful what we have here, and I think that sometimes we maybe take it for granted whenever we're stressed out because we're hunting and we're doing this. But holy shit, dude!
Yeah.
Look at what has come of this. Of
Yeah,
all the
Heartland Waterfowl is
relationships, man.
much
Bigger than just a
more
TV show,
than a
dude.
TV show.
Way more.
Even more than a YouTube channel.
It's way
Yeah.
more. And I'm saying this up front. I could not be more blessed, dude. I could not be more blessed to be involved, man. I fucking love it. I love that I get to play my little part.
I love everything.
And I
get to
take
do.
so much pride in my little part.
Yeah.
I love my little part.
Exactly.
Mhm.
No, I feel the same way.
It's cool, man. It's cool, man. And we're doing it for the 10th time. It's crazy.
Man.
Can't believe it. Sure, granted, I wasn't there from day one, but I've been
No.
around for a little while.
It's hard to believe how quick the time has gone by. I mean, I remember.
just going from the premieres at Bass Pro to
I was
Yeah.
paying.
production and
Well, I'll
that.
take it even to a more emotional level. Like, I remember, of course, we were trying to make this Heartland Waterfowl thing, making a thing when I was still working at the radio station. And then the day came, we're like, okay, we're going to do this. I'm going to need the flexibility to be on the road, which I'm not going to get enough vacation time from the radio station to meet the obligation that I'm going to have to provide to do it Heartland Waterfowl. So I'm calling it quits. I'm hanging it up. And my daughter was born August 24th that year. Okay, she's about to turn 9 this year. And that year, she was born on August 24th. And then I left the radio station September, I think it was 19th. And the very next day, I left for Canada on September 20th. And for me, it's like, wow. You know,
Holy cow,
look
yeah.
how old my daughter is. And there's footage of my wife holding my daughter as I'm getting ready to leave for Canada. And then I'm coming home to be a stay-at-home dad because now I've just given up a full-time salary. And to compensate for that, I'm going to have to be a stay-at-home dad to save money on daycare, you know. And now look where we're at. You know, like for me, it's deeper, it's more emotional just to see the sacrifices and all the things, all the staying up until 3:00 in the morning, working on logos, business plans, mission statements,
Going
media
back and forth with
kits,
sponsors.
yeah, all of that stuff. I mean, I was constantly have to chase sponsors. Now I'm not going to say it is easier. It's just a different kind of hard work, but
Well, the groundwork's been laid.
yeah. I mean,
The hard
it's-
part's done. Now it's just maintaining.
It's retention, yeah. But that's the thing about HW, and it better always be the same thing about HW as long as I'm involved, is that we don't get complacent. We recognize that we haven't made it.
Yeah.
You know, like we're good. We should be confident because nobody is successful without having some sort of confidence or arrogance, right? I'd prefer to call it confidence. But you have to recognize that if you just get lazy and think I've made it, we're the best, someone's always ready to take the person off, knock you down.
Yeah.
So we've always got to keep striving to like, what is it that we can be doing next? How can we make it better? How can we change up this YouTube thing to play better in that sandbox?
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, as long as I'm involved, Heartland Waterfowl will always do that.
Yeah. You want to know how epitome that I had today? I was driving. I was going bouncing around. I went to the bank, and then I had to go to see a unit and checked on a different place. I went like this. I had this thought in my head. I don't know if I want to get grief. Maybe I'm getting older. All right. Sorry. But
Here we go again.
I had this epitome today. There's no coast period.
Mm-mm.
There's no time where you go, oh, shit, we got it to here, and now we're going to coast. And now, like, I've always had this, like, vision in my brain that you get successful enough to a point to where you're like, all right, now we made it, and now it's like coast. Well, then it's like once you get to that success point, then you're trying to, like, go to the next one. And it's like, okay, well, now I have more resource. Now I have more this. Now I'm trying to do more. So I thought, whenever I quit my job, I thought, well, as long as I'm doing video stuff and get paid, and now I'm like trying to take on more shit and do more stuff and do that. I'm like, there's no coast period. This never ends.
Nope.
This never ends.
And here's the thing:
You have to keep doing this shit forever.
The minute
keep
you
on
start to
trying it.
coast is the minute you lost it all.
That's what my dad's saying. He's retired. I'm like, bullshit. No, you aren't. No, he isn't.
No.
He has not been retired.
He's still the same Larry Thurn.
Yeah, he's retired, but still doing all the same shit.
Yeah.
But dude, he likes to do it.
Right.
He enjoys it.
We're involved in so many things. He goes, yeah, I got to pull you off of this because we got to work on my stuff now. And I'm like, all right.
But there's no coast period.
No.
There's no like I made it and it's like, oh, all right, now we're just going to hang out here for a while. I envisioned in my head that there was a period that you get to a point and you go, all right, now we're good.
I think
But
I did too.
I think everybody does. Everybody does.
If I had $3 million in the bank right now, I'd be worried what I'd be doing with that $3 million. You know, how do I turn that 3 into 15?
Right.
Like,
You always
there's
wanna
no
level
coast
up.
period. It's never like we get here and it's like, all right, we're
It's like I
chilling.
said earlier. It's just a different kind of hard work.
Yeah. Instead of doing, and I listened to a podcast, believe it or not, and it had logic on it. It was Logan Paul's podcast, and he said, "I used to deal with hundreds, then I dealt with thousands, then I dealt with hundreds of thousands. Now I'm just dealing with millions. It's the same shit. It's just intensified.
got more zeros.
Yeah, it's just got more zeros. I'm still doing the same amount of shit, just more zeros attached.
Yeah.
But do you ever think during that journey, like as you're doing it, and I'm just speaking from my experience, especially reflecting on this last year with me, is like I neglected some things. I kind of like let off the gas and thought I needed to refocus on some certain areas that I felt were more pressing. But do you ever feel like during that, like when you get into that rut, like that complacency does start to kick in? Like, what do you tell somebody when they're in that position to like don't throttle back? Like, how do you overcome that step where you think your business is going great, like everything's good, but as soon as you let back just a touch, and I noticed it with the Valley Oak side of things with bookings and stuff, like I got complacent with it, like build up, don't worry about it, and then as soon as you kind of throttle back with certain things and focus on a couple areas that you think, and then like all of a sudden you're like back at like, oh shoot, now I gotta jump back into it. Like, how do you tell somebody like when you get in that, like, to not let off the throttle? Like,
It's touch and go, and it's you have to through motion. You have to figure out
balance.
what you got to do because, dude, I'm dealing with the same thing with the media stuff and the property manager right now. How much time do I dedicate to this? How much time do I dedicate to this? Because as much time as I'm dedicating to the Timberline stuff, I'm neglecting my marathon stuff. But it's touch and go. You have to figure out that balance of, okay, I got to spend a certain amount of time with this to make sure that this is running. And sometimes, dude, the Timberline stuff, if I'm swamped with the Timberline stuff, it's got to put a fucking higher priority whenever I got some other stuff going. And same thing with, look, whenever I was doing your edit, nothing else was on my table. I'm like, I got to focus completely on this. It's the only way my brain works. I got to focus on this entirely. So I think, in my experience, and dude, do I got to figure it out? Hell no, dude. I'm trying to figure it out right now.
I don't think anybody.
But I
ever
think,
figures
but
it out.
it's through just going through it. You have to go, oh, dude, I neglected that for 2 months. I learned that I can't just let that sit on idle. I at least got to do this so I can make sure that I'm maintaining this or whatever. It's finding out a balance. Like it's hard to find though.
And that's been
I'm struggling with it so hard right now.
That's been my biggest struggle in life is finding the right balance, because I like to take things to the extreme, and when I do that, like I'm 100% consumed. So I have a hard time like trying to figure out, like, instead of just like throttling 100% into something and getting it going, and I get it going, and then it's just like, all right, put 100% into this. It's trying to, especially now having a daughter and like going through those experiences and the importance of family time and making sure like you don't want to be that dad that isn't around and is focused solely on growth of his business and doesn't put growth into his family, and trying to figure out like that work-life balance to where like you stay healthy mentally, like stay on top of your game, you try to figure everything out, but it's tough. Like I think that's where once you start, like you kind of go through that cycle, and it's kind of like I compare it to like a growth of a hunter. Like when you first start out and you're finding your circle and your growth, and you want to, like, I'm tired of this toxic environment, you go on and you seek out those people then you start to get those opportunities in. And then it's trying to like manage those opportunities. Like how like all this is coming in at once because of like I'm putting myself out there in those situations. How do I figure out how to maintain and keep those healthy relationships and somebody not sacrifice? Somebody's always going to, there's always going to be a sacrifice. I left you that last beer.
Thank you.
For sure.
But it's like how, like once you start to leveling up and then figuring out, because learning things in business, it ain't about the money. It's about the time. Time is your money. Like it's one resource you cannot create more of. So you got a certain amount of times during the day that you're awake, and sleep is important. Like certain things you got to do for self-care. How do you find that mix? And that's one thing I think a lot of people struggle with when they start to get success, and kind of like will put them right back in that average situation again, is not understanding balance, not finding the right schedule that fits for the workload that you need to do. And enough is enough that day. Like, you can't do any more. There's nothing you can worry about anymore, because you're worrying about it today. Like, it's something you can't control. Like, you're wasting your energy. Like, you're wasting your time. Like, if you're worried about it today and it's a problem that's 3 weeks down the road, nothing you can do about it.
Right.
Why focus that energy? Why turn something positive into a negative and harp on it? And I think that's where a lot of failure comes in and starts to kick in. Like, got to find that right balance. And if you don't have the balance, and it's a hard mix to find. I don't know if people ever really truly find it, but it's just getting that right mix.
The only thing I would say to that is you're only as good as the people that you surround yourself with. And fortunately, it's not Heartland Waterfowl with Ronnie Phillips or Heartland Waterfowl with Logan Burdett. You know, it's a team of men, right? And so we all understand that life comes up, life changes. You know, eventually we get married, we have kids. What we look like as a group of men from season 1, when none of us had kids, to where we are now, where there's multitude of us that are dads.
We've
and
grown
it
up
changes.
together. Like, in a
Yeah.
sense. Like,
And engaged.
a different type of grown up. Like,
And engaged.
And engaged. Yeah, and now
Right,
Dakota's
and engaged.
Somebody actually somehow or another said,
Just
"Yeah,
got lucky
Dakota's my
enough. Somebody got lucky enough to get tied up in this. Is
yeah.
that what you're saying?
No, but
I'm still in Vegas partying.
No, you really are as good as the people you surround yourself with. And so, like, it's no secret, and maybe it is to the people listening to this podcast, but it's pretty public now with my podcast and the people that are in the circle, is that this past year, actually the past 2 years, have been a massive struggle for me. And I was internalizing a lot of that, trying to find my balance and everything. And what I've learned is that I don't have to do this by myself. I don't have to take this. I don't have to take this all on. I don't have to feel all of the shame, the feeling like I'm failing because I can't do it all. You know, now I can be open about it. I don't have to feel the shame. And I know that I've got a brotherhood of people that say, hey, you know what? I got your back. You know what? You got this you need to take care of. If you said, you know what, I can't do this because I've got my daughter this today, or I got, you know, whatever it is, you know, hey, man, we understand that's important to you. We got your back, you know. So I think it's a maturity thing. But when it comes to balance, you know, you don't have to figure it all out on your own. And that's what I've learned. Like, I used to be that guy that would have shit planned out months in advance. Okay, well, if I do this and this and this, then that's going to put me in a position to do X, Y, and Z. Well, now the dynamic has changed with my whole child, you know, situation, 2 kids who are under the age of 2. And now I can go to Logan, I can go to Dakota, I can go to any of you guys, and I can say, hey, man, I don't know about this. You know, I'll pick up this slack here, and you pick up this slack here.
Right.
You know, hey, no problem, man. I got your back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gotta have a circle, man.
You do.
Gotta have a circle.
We got a good one.
We got a good one, too. We're blessed, man. We really are. We're really blessed. But,
And it's okay if you don't have it figured out right. Like, if you don't, like you're talking about the balance, like feeling like a failure because you're struggling with that balance, man. I mean, and I'll just say this and I'll let you move on. But, like, I've gotten to the point where, like, you know what? It's okay that I don't have it figured out.
Hey.
Okay. But here's what I'm going to do.
I struggle with
I get it. I get it. And I still do too. But the thing that I'm trying to challenge myself with is, what can I do today to make myself 1% better than I was yesterday?
Correct. And if you got it figured out, hit me up.
Right.
yeah. That's the
You
crazy
got the
thing.
keys to life.
That's the thing.
Like,
That's the thing is who got it figured out.
I don't think anybody.
We're all searching for this figure it out. Who got it figured out?
And here's the thing is that these millionaires, they've got stress. More money, more problems.
Yeah.
You know, like they're trying to figure it out too, you know? I mean, I don't know. That's probably not accurate to say, but I think that's just a different kind of stress and issues. But just surround yourself with a good network of people who got your back.
Yeah, and do what you enjoy.
Yep.
Do what you enjoy. That's the biggest thing. A lot of these other problems sort themselves out once you just start doing what you enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you're passionate about what you're doing, dude, you don't got to force me to do this, what we're doing.
And life is so short.
It's short, dude.
Energy.
It really is. We just talked about 10 years of Heartland Waterfowl. It's gone by like that. It's gone by like that.
I can think
Like
of it
you
in
got
a
one
flash.
shot at life, man. Be happy.
Shoot
Yeah.
your shot.
YOLO.
YOLO. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I've said this a million times, but I always say, like, the Grim Reaper, you know, like, he don't give he don't put shit off till tomorrow.
Mm-mm.
He'll handle his business today. He'll handle his business in the next 30 minutes. Like, we don't know when we're getting called. No one knows. No one knows. So you got to like enjoy and do what you're supposed to do while you're on this planet, dude.
And you
don't know.
You can only control what you can control. And you kind of touched on one thing about sleep. And this is one thing that I've kind of learned. Like back in my younger days, I could, stay up all hours of the night, work. And, there's all of these, like I've heard the story about 50 Cent when he was making his movie and like he's making a record and he's making a movie and he's doing all of these different projects and he's involved with Vitamin Water or whatever it was at the time. Mm-hmm. And it's like, 50, how do you find time? Like, when do you sleep? He's like, when do I sleep? I don't sleep. Mm-hmm. I have an opportunity this big to make a dream a reality. Mm-hmm. I don't sleep. Now,
Kevin Hart says the same shit.
I think that there's like, for me, I used to have that mentality. Now I work and I work and work. And when I get tired to where I know that I'm not productive, then I sleep.
You listen to yourself, though.
You got to listen to your body. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they're like, you know what? I need a break.
Yep.
I'm gonna get some sleep. I'm gonna refresh and get whatever, re-energized.
How does that correlate to freaking guiding?
I don't think about them because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's just what we're
I
talking
get
about.
tired.
Because you do what you
And
love.
I think like when I get tired, like of my routine, and like off-season stuff, it's because I don't have that fulfillment of the enjoyment. Like, and a lot of it, it's hard for me to say it because I battled like depression for so long, and one of the big things is depression. Like for me, one of my coping mechanisms, sleep it away. Like if I'm asleep, I don't feel the pain, and like feeling the pain.
That actually made it worse.
It does make it worse because then you wake up and then you're in a panic.
Yeah.
Because you've shortened your window of the time frame that you've got to be productive.
Yep.
And so like that part of it sucks, and it's like coming to that realization like sometimes you're your own worst enemy, and you know what you got to do, but you just ain't got the balls to do it, and it's hard to tell somebody like how do you finally just grab the balls and say I'm going for it.
Yeah.
And when everybody's got their own situations that put them into where they're at, and you get advice from everybody, and you pick and choose like the information that you want to process and like how you want to, like I'm gonna fix it this way or I'm gonna do this, and it's just sometimes you just gotta do it.
Hey,
Yeah.
you figure it out.
You have to go through the motions. It's the 1% thing.
Yep.
Problem
Like, you know
solving.
what? You may not know it today, but even correlated to the gym, just showing up to the gym, not even going in, is more than you did yesterday.
Yep.
Walking in and just opening the door, more than you did.
And maybe the next day you get on the treadmill and you walk for 5 minutes. That's still more than you did the day
more than you
before.
And it's creating habits. You got your bad habits and your good habits, and like habit forming. Once you get like habits, kind of put you on autopilot. Like you don't realize it. It's kind of like me being a cigarette smoker for half my life. When I get in my truck, I want to light a cigarette. Now I'm like, I mean, I hit a vape, but it's bad probably. Like whatever the studies
I
are
do
going
the
to come
same
out
thing,
on
but
it.
electronically.
But before it was the first thing I did. Like,
No, I got you. I get what you're saying.
light a cigarette, put the key in the ignition, start the vehicle, and drive. And it becomes so instilled that it's autopilot. You don't even think about you're doing it. And one thing about creating habits is if there's something you want to succeed at, you got to find a way to break that down and start forming those habits to succeed at it. And I think that's what will start to bring it down to where you can understand, like, and make it manageable to where you can get to where you want to be with it and what you want to achieve. And you don't think about it. It's no different than picking clothes up or making your bed every single day. When you get into a bed that's made at the end of the day, like, you can get into a bed that's organized, you don't have clutter. Like, for me, like, I don't have clutter in my brain. If I've got stuff scattered all over my room and things are disarray, my mind's in disarray. And when my things in my surroundings start to get a disarray, I become disarray. So like, going back to product of your environment, whether it's the people you surround yourself or the way you live.
Yep.
If you're not taking care of the things you need to and handle your business when you need to and keep pushing, like, you are just going to settle.
Yeah.
And settling, I think, is why we have so many people that complain. Like, they just settle. They're content where they are.
I think that's my biggest fear.
Being content, settling.
Just settling.
Complacency.
Well,
I don't
just,
think you could
just
settle,
not
though.
being
You
what
don't
I
have it in
think
you to
that
settle.
my potential could be.
Mm.
You know?
Well, excuses and complaints are just like assholes. Everybody's got one, and they fucking stink.
Yeah. All right, I want to wrap this little thing up. You guys talked about what you would tell me if you were back at 28. I want to talk about now being 28, what I would tell somebody that's 21 that wants to do what we do. Because I think that maybe that could be helpful to somebody, maybe. But here's my thoughts. What you got to do is you have to find what you're passionate about and what you're good at. Line those up, and you'll never work a day. And the biggest thing for, like, if I could tell anybody that wants to do the type of stuff that we do, you have to treat what you're doing before it becomes a job. You have to treat it like a job. And taking the leap of faith is the easy part. The rest is doing all the different stuff, getting rejected, doing all of these different things. The leap of faith is the one easy part. Like, as soon as you can continue to try and go out on your own and try and do something different or follow your passions or whatever. But at the end of the day, one thing that I know for a fact is you have to find some fulfillment. You can't work a job that you don't get fulfilled in. You have to find something that at the end of the day you go like this. And enjoy it. Life is too short not to enjoy what you do. Dude, for most people, your work makes up a majority of your life.
Enjoy the process.
Majority of your life is made up with your work. And you have to pursue something that you enjoy. And I think that a lot of people get in stuck in situations where they don't enjoy what they're doing, or they think that, and I've seen it a lot of times, people that are talented in many things they could create things and be people that, you know, they have talents that they don't even tap into because they're comfortable in what they do. And my only word to you is just take that leap of faith. Just go. But when you go, you got to run. When you go, you got to take it like it's your last shot. There's no plan B. If you treat it as, okay, I'm going to go back to this, that's not going to happen. You have to treat it like I ain't got no plan B. I'm running for something, man. I got a vision. I got a plan. And that's the biggest thing is it's one thing to have a goal, but goals are just goals until you put a plan together. You got to put a plan together on how am I going to get there? Who do I got to involve myself in? I got to talk to Ronnie because he knows some people that also do this stuff. I got to involve myself with so-and-so. Get in it. You have to get in it. You have to involve yourself with people. You have to go. You have to run. You have to run for a while, and you're not going to see any benefit from running. You're not going to see any benefit for a while. But then one door is going to open. Another door is going to open.
But you're still running.
But you're still running.
The only thing I would add to that, though, is when you made the comment, like, do it as if it's like your only or last shot to do it. There's a good chance you might fail.
There's a
There's a really good
Probably
chance you might
gonna
fail.
fail.
You're probably going to fail. But don't think that that's your only shot. Just get back up and keep moving. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. And if that's not working, change it up and do something different.
Right, dude. And here's the thing. It's not necessarily if things fail. There's certain things that are stepping stones. There's certain things that are not supposed to be the end-all, be-all of your journey, but it's a stepping stone to get you to the next position.
Yep.
They're stepping stones, but you just got to go. You have to take that leap of faith. You have to be passionate about what you're doing. And and it takes a lot of confidence sometimes. I remember whenever I first went to go quit my job, it was on my birthday. They took me to Texas Roadhouse, bought me a steak. I went back and then went and put my 2 weeks in. And they're like, we just bought you a steak. But I remember sitting at my desk, like, my stomach, like, feeling like I'm going to throw up. Like, I can't believe I'm going to do this. Can't believe I'm going to do this. Can't believe I'm going to do this. I'm like, okay, let's rip the Band-Aid off. Let's do it. Let's finally do it. This is going to suck. I'm going to be broke.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have any direction. I don't know where I'm going to get my next paycheck.
Yep.
I'm going to have to go through some hard times. Short-term sacrifice for long-term benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another misconception. You're going to jump and then it's just going to be all goody-goody. I think that a lot of people get afraid of going less.
Yeah.
Whenever I quit the explosive job, I went from making decent money at my age to not making shit. But you have to believe in that, dude. You have to believe in, I'm going to go take these 3 years of war to get where I'm going. Same thing with opening a guide business. You got to go through a couple years of freaking taking it on the chin and learning stuff and figuring it out. It takes time. But it's the reason why my company is called Marathon. It's the reason why all this stuff. It's long term. Got to keep at it. So if I could give anybody advice younger than what I am, also film everything that you do. Document everything that you do. Because now looking back at some of the stuff that I did whenever I was 21 and I have all the footage of it, it's so great. I get to see it. And it's a little time capsule. You know, I get to see, okay, this is where I was at then. This is what I was thinking then. This is what I created then. Whenever we were doing Nate's project, when I was going through all these different hard drives, got to go and tap into all these different memories that I forgot about, but I had them. Got to film everything. That's what we've been doing. We go set a trail camera. We're filming everything. Okay, get an interview. Let's do this. Oh, you drop your freaking beer and it spills in the side by side. Let's film it. It's going to be a funny memory in 5 years.
You're right.
Film it all. Document it all. You'll be able to look back at it. Dude, stuff that I filmed that we have never used, I used on that video. We never used. It just sat on a hard drive for years.
We didn't know what the hell we were
But we
doing.
found purpose for it. So, if you're 21, go for it. You're super freaking young at 21. Oh my gosh, dude.
If I could go back.
Just
no,
go.
no,
You
no.
have war years ahead of you. You have go be broke years at 21. Go be broke. Go be broke for a couple years and figure out and chase your passion. Go be broke.
Can I add something to that?
Go for it.
The only other thing that helped me a lot in my transition from corporate life to self-employment was the personal development stuff. And I need to get back into doing that. I will publicly, openly admit it, because I kind of got complacent and got away from it. But the thing that I felt like helped me in that process was no matter what side of the bed I woke up on, no matter how I was feeling or what was going on in my life, there was two things that I did. One, I knew my why. What's my why in life? And it couldn't be like, oh, I want to make $1 million. No, for me, it was, okay, well, I don't have any retirement at the time invested for myself. And I wanted to create some sort of foundation financially for my daughter to have college tuition. You know, so I wrote it down. There's an old saying, if you don't, you won't. And I had it on a Post-it note, and it was right next to my laptop, or even on my laptop, and I would shut it. And every time I would open it up, there's that Post-it note. Retirement, Reagan's tuition. And so no matter what side of the bed I woke up on each day, that was my why. That was my why. But then the second thing was I started off each day in some form of personal development, whether I'm reading something, whether I'm going to YouTube and I'm watching Gary Vee or Eric Thomas or Tony Robbins or whoever it might be. You know, how can I pull some inspiration, some motivation, even if it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes? How can I start my day on a positive note? And I do really think that for someone to get in the right frame of mind, to take that leap of faith, you have to invest time in yourself for personal development. That's the only thing I would add to self-care. Yeah. That's the only thing I would add to that.
Flip that switch. You got to flip that switch. I'm going to be a different me. I'm going to learn how to be a different me and perform like a different me.
That's it.
You know. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So much for tuning in to the Juice Podcast. We love doing this. Q, Back me up here. Do we love doing this?
Love it.
We absolutely love doing this. We have so much fun doing this with our friends. It's even a better episode when we get our freaking straight up homies, our day ones in here. And we've got Nate and Ronnie in here, and we could not be more excited about having them here.
We love you.
Always a good
Love
time.
you guys.
We love everything that they're involved in. We're involved in everything that they're involved in. We could not be
You really
more
are.
excited. Yes, we
Yeah,
are.
you
We're
really
all.
are.
Yeah.
This is a big little web of being involved with each other, and I think that is a testament to just the relationship that we have with everybody. Everybody is so tight here. Tight.
It's an in-home
It's a tight little family, man.
podcast.
So thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do it. If you have subscribed, redo it. Leave us a comment. Talk shit on us. Do whatever you got to do. Or you could say, hey, we want these guys back on, and then I'll have to freaking schedule through them having kids and shit like that about them getting back on the podcast. I'm willing to do it. I will take time.
As a matter of fact, why don't you comment on this one about what you would like to hear in the next podcast?
There we go. Hey, he done this before, hadn't he? He done this before. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to the Juice Podcast, episode 15 in the books. We'll see you next Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, we're out.
Lover, never fuck without a rubber. Never in the sheets like it on top of the cover. Money on the dresser, drive a compressor. Top notch hoes get the most, not the lesser. Trash like the fuck